What is up, YouTube?
What's up?
My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop into our Discord. The link for that is in the description box down below.
Yes. Much love to every single person in the house and watching on replay in the future, all that good stuff, commenting. Appreciate everybody in the house, and also those that, see that we have a lot of topics to discuss here on a, Sunday, chill, relaxing kind of wrap up for the week, but we had some interesting topics, and of course, just don't worry, guys, the AT&T statement is okay. So we'll talk about that and more, but first, I just want to start it off with those that make the world go around. I do have to shout out Mr. Dwayne Broussard. He had a $4 holler.
Thank you so much, Dwayne.
I'm pretty sure it was a Go Cowboys.
Oh, very classic. Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah, Go Cowboys. Dwayne Broussard moving up the board and also dropping a $2 thanks in one of our previous shorts from today. So appreciate the man, the top dog, Dwayne Broussard, who's rocking it here with us on the nightly for another Cowboys chat. So you can see we got some rookie and third-year guy linebacker discussion there. Overshown, Jabril Cox. We also got the tight ends. We got Jerry, of course, observing the AT&T Stadium situation. Of course, you see the two pass rushers there, DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. Oh yeah, that and more tonight. I can't wait to get into it. But we also got the cameras on, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But before we get there, let's shout out the sponsor of the week. This week he's been rocking it. 2 times out of the last 3 weeks, David S. has been the king there and the king of the Cash App as well. Last week, he just came in on Sunday and took it over. We'll see what happens tonight. Will he go back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys? We'll see. David S., though, rocking it here as the king of the Cash App and the sponsor of the week, just like the king of the stream boss for like 13 out of 14 weeks, Mark Hovsepian, all the way from Hawaii.
Mahalo to you.
95, Jonathan Hankins. Run-stopping points for him on that stream boss. He powered himself back up. He was in like the 30s and 40s, right, range. Up to the back, fully loaded almost there. Much love to Mark Hovsepian. And also, he's also the current leader on the overall board. Mark Hovsepian, he's got a little bit of distance there, over a skeptical fan. Dwayne Broussard, Jason Renfro, and of course, the guy who's currently the Cash App leader. Trying to take that crown from David S. It's none other than SnugX.
You know why he's here.
You know why he does it. So much love to SnugX. He is currently, I think, second place on the overall board behind Mark Hovsepian, but it's a battle for that top spot. In SnugX right now, though, in the Cash App, he's got the inside track for that tonight. We'll see what happens. As we can, we got to go through the news, info, and updates and discuss a lot of stuff with you guys here. But maybe there's also a couple of other ways that the family can help out outside of super chats, like Dwayne Broussard, membership joining, which again, much love to the star level members. We always shout you guys out every single night here in MCF. The top sponsors, really, on the nightly. Yes, Skeptical Fan, Lincoln Kane, Dwayne Broussard, and Mary Alvarez. Appreciate you guys. And by the way, Skeptical Fan, he's also last month's champion of gifting memberships, a new function here in MCF. So again, this month he's in the lead by about 6, I think, 5 or 6 over Jason Renfro. That battle continues this month. But I do want to say a new feature, outside of the memberships that we got back and the super chats that we have on here. Of course, the gifting membership's a fantastic feature here, but we also got 4 other ways to help spread the love here on My Cowboys Family.
That's right. You do have the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, of course, the Streamlabs link lets your comments show up on screen just like a super chat.
You know how it goes, guys. Appreciate everybody who's helped through these ways as well. Again, the Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal is basically what makes up the Cash App King, which right now, again, SnugX is in that lead. Now, you see the topics at your screen here in front of you. Why don't we have our bouncing little, emojis, whatever you call them? What are they? VTubers. Because we're going to be on camera here in a minute. But first, the shout-outs for this evening, baby. Who's in the house tonight in the chat?
We have Johnny Munoz, hello and hi. Landlord from Wakanda in the house. Nate Rosario, much love. Rolando Rodriguez, all the way from South Texas. We have Tyler, hello and hi. Cactus G, in the place to be. Wes Robinson coming through. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself, representing. We have Sheehan and John Life, hello and hi. Mike Aldana in the house, what's up? Spoony Dog representing. Skeptical Fan always staying skeptical.
Always.
Much love to you, Skeptical Fan. Freedom First, what's up?
Hey, he was first again.
We have Drums and Cowboys representing, what's up? So, let me see. I think that's everyone here.
Now we're kicking it off here. People can jump in this house, but for now, we got to get the cameras on. The lights, camera, and action, baby. As we're on here at night, Ripping that navy blue, silver, and star for
Always.
everything. We got 5 on it. We need to get that 6 and beyond. You know the deal here on My Cowboys Family. You guys in the house. Appreciate everybody here rocking with us for another one. So any quick comments in the chat, maybe, before we get it rocking and rolling here? Because, again, you see the AT&T Stadium going in flames there. You're like, uh-oh, what the hell's going on? So any quick comments or thoughts?
Let me see. Johnny Munoz saying, can't wait to see Overshown when he gets some pass rushing moves coming off the edge like a heat-seeking
And I have tonight's discussion is going to center on, when do you expect to see Overshown in the mix? Is what the expectations are for him. I think we'll see that in preseason, but we'll talk about a little more detail about him and Jabril Cox in that battle for what I think is going to be a very important position on this defense. So we'll talk about it.
Let me see. Honestly, besides that, not really. Don't have too much going on here, so you're cracking me up here with some of those comments, landlord from Wakanda. So yeah, besides that, baby, if I'm ready, you're ready. Let's get rolling here. Give me just a second to go ahead and take care of this doggy.
All right. So. Sounds good. Yesterday, that doggy went crazy. Now, she's, she's prepping for another crazy night, it seems. This time the camera might be on, so you guys, is on, so you'll see it. So, now, let's get it rolling here, guys, because the first thing I want to discuss, and I do want the wife's impression on this, but we'll wait for her to get back. Appreciate everybody hitting that like, subscribe, and that notification bell, of course, here at MCF. But let's talk about that little fire that occurred at AT&T Stadium, all right, the Cowboys' home right there. So, let me pop this up. Give me a minute, guys. It'd be... Sorry. All right, here it is, guys. So, boom. Unfortunately, right? The fire at AT&T Stadium, again, to go through what it is, Jerry probably not too happy, not with that smiley face after seeing this. But again, let's make sure what it was. It was not the actual stadium. It was outside of the stadium, thank goodness. And it was basically a multiple porta potties. So, where people, sometimes in construction, sometimes there's lines out there waiting. So you see people using them. And now, whatever happened, whether someone set it ablaze, because arson or some kind of issue. I mean, I remember a couple years ago, handful of years ago, there was a big gas leak fire going on there. So that's something that maybe could have partaken in this. I don't want to jump the gun there, but again, it was a fire outside of AT&T Stadium this morning in Dallas, Arlington, and this porta potty fire at AT&T Stadium. Interesting situation. I'm going to just say that in this way. A lot of people are saying, the Eagles had an issue, I think, at their stadium. The other teams have. It's like, it's like a good sign. I don't know about that, but the Cowboys, this fire, the officials right now, and I'm talking about this guy being one of the officials, right? But, whoever it may be, the fire department, whoever, currently have not announced what caused this fire. So we know the stadium is fine. But again, as you can see, you can see that thick black, plumes of smoke in the air. It looked like there was something happened. A plane might have hit or something from a distance. And then as you go up on it, you can see right there down below, there's a row of porta potties right there on fire. Some people said maybe too much Taco Bell for someone there.
Mahalo to you, Mark. Mike Aldana saying someone dropped a cherry bomb in the porta potty. Again, I have to imagine there was some shenanigans involved, just because if not, you'd see randomly combusting porta potties all throughout the South or something.
But some years back, though, there was a fire from a gas leak line or something like this. So I don't know if that has anything to do with this at all.
Yeah, but no gas lines are connected to porta potties.
No, I know, but
natural
I'm
gases,
thinking it was probably someone creating this issue, right? More than it was like the porta potties. Porta potties don't just light up on fire. So either way, guys, the Arlington Fire Department responded. They confirmed multiple porta potties were. It wasn't just like one, and someone just blew up. But I guess they could have started with one, and the other ones caught fire. They will be back up when the season begins, is the word from. That's the only word we know from this whole situation. So again, the preseason games start coming on. Porta potties will be filled around the stadium, so you can piss and crap wherever you want.
Jerry's going to start selling branded diapers or something.
A big star on it. Oh, it should be an eagle. Star on the outside, and the inside should be an eagle. Or the opponent that week. Like our emojis, right? You put them on the diapers. Anyways, that's the update on that guy. I do want to say one other update, kind of not Cowboys, not Dallas Cowboys, but it is NFC East related, I guess. The city of Philadelphia had their own issue today. NFC East news, I guess you can say, on I-95.
Let's be honest, this is like life news if you're anywhere on the East Coast, because this disrupts, pretty much all the travel, transport situations. But a big chunk of I-95 in Philly collapsed today. So
it happened because of a tanker fire, and it took some people were driving over and eventually collapsed. So hopefully, I think everybody was okay.
Yeah, thankfully it was something that the accident, because of that, it was able to kind of be slowed down. So as far as I know, no one was really injured or anything from that, but obviously big implications. So.
Again, Washington and the New York Giants, they better prepare for, just in case. You never know, I guess, right? We're actually going to talk about the Giants next here, and they got to prepare for something else, maybe bigger than just a fire in front of the stadium.
Mark Hovsepian, much love to you.
Kicking it off live here for us tonight, Mark Hovsepian, Mark H, repping that $2 holler. What did he have to say, baby?
He said it was Senor Pablo's all-you-can-eat burrito night.
A lot of people joking about that. Someone had the shits in there.
Like I said, I have a feeling that if that were the case, we would be seeing a lot more stories about combustible porta potties. Like, what deadly combination of things had to happen to make that thing blow up is all I'm saying.
Whatever's in a Taco Bell, spicy. Anyways, look, we're joking. I get the joke. And Mark, thankfully everybody was okay. That's the most important thing in this whole thing. And of course, Jerry Jones's precious AT&T Stadium was fine as well. They'll have the porta potties up there when the game started again for the fans to use. Much love to Mr. Mark Hovsepian. 97 points now, Osa style on the stream, boss. Mm-hmm. And then, I talked about the Cowboys' home stadium, the Eagles, roads. And then, Washington, nothing to talk about. Daniel Snyder's always in trouble. But the Giants, we'll talk about Saquon Barkley. Really the only NFL news today. Saquon Barkley confirmed at the Saquon Barkley Youth Football Camp in Jersey City, New Jersey, that he will not be at the Giants' mandatory minicamp this upcoming week. Barkley has not signed his franchise tag, his franchise tender. And I'm going to say his words here. He said, quote, "As I have previously stated, I'm not looking to set any contract records. I'm not demanding to be the highest paid player at my position. I understand the market. My goal is just to be compensated respectfully based on my contributions to the team, on the field, and in the locker room. I've been in talks with the Giants throughout the offseason. If at some point there's a deal that is fair to both sides on the table, I will be ready to sign." Hey, you know what, Giants? Pay him $17 million, baby. That's what I want to see. Yes, let's give the running back money. That's what I want to see for the Giants. Anyways, I'll stop there. Mark Hovsepian up to Chauncey Golston, 99 points. As we're on that quest for 6 and beyond.
Yeah,
what did Mark have to say?
I had a feeling about that, Mark. Much love with the $2 holler. He said, "Hell, give me a milkshake. I'll put them all to shame." He is lactose intolerant.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, we have family members that also have that, so we understand.
Yeah, thankfully, the damage I think I would probably jump off a bridge if I couldn't. Like,
run and hide from that. Yeah, that.
Cheese is like a major food group in my life.
It's a necessity.
Yes.
In this household, so
not even milk, but like cheese specifically.
Well.
Anyway, cracking me up, yeah, right. Corey Hicks saying that Jerry looks like Walt Disney in the clown picture. So
a little bit.
Johnny, again, I really hope that Jimmy Johnson not being in the Ring of Honor does not mean that we are cursed forever, because otherwise we're going to be cursed for a while.
It's an easy, that's our problems. Obviously, curses aren't really real. Obviously, we can play around with that. But the reality is, I think as a fan base, you just feel more comfortable and confident as fans. When you know that guy who deserves to be there gets in there. Now, we got to overcome that curse, that issue. The players have to overcome that.
How about this? I know it's super random, but how would you feel if McCarthy brought in
Jimmy,
like a voodoo specialist, or you know what I mean, like someone
That'd be silly,
to overturn the curse, like on an official.
First, I mean, I understand it in a joking way, it's fine and everything, but Jerry Jones will never let that happen.
I know,
and we don't need that.
So I gotta do that midnight. You gotta break it to the stadium.
That'll cause dissent, and if the players know it's about them, not about some silly curse. But yeah, Jimmy Johnson needs to get in that Ring of Honor, no diggity,
it's okay.
No doubt. So I agree. Now, anyways, what do you think about Saquon Barkley? So, again, he's saying, I'm not coming to mandatory. He's going to lose the $100,000 and not a 10-minute mandatory minicamp.
Yeah, definitely a different situation than when, just kind of rolling back the clock all the way back to when Zeke, obviously.
Not that different. He skipped training camp. Remember that.
Yeah, but he didn't lose any money because at the time, the team was able to forgive any money that he would have lost.
Right. It was fines from the team. Fines from the team different from the NFL.
I was say now it's a little different, Saquon, I'm just saying that Saquon's wallet is going to be squeezed, so he's at least putting a tiny bit of his money where his mouth is.
That's the thing, though. He can cover it. $100,000, he can afford
and I was going to say, it's not like he has that many negotiation tactics left to him, right?
This is all he's got left to just maybe... All you're going to do is discombobulate the Giants' offense a little bit, which only helps everyone else. Hold on.
And considering they already locked down, Daniel Jones and all the other situations they have going on.
Yeah.
they kind of need Saquon. So thank you so much,
hey,
Mark.
Hey, he got 5 on it. Much love to Mark Hovsepian. Back to 100 points on the Stream Boss. Still in first place on that overall board. What did the man from Hawaii have to say?
He said, Jerry Jones is a total dick. Two-faced. Says he has no issues with Coach Jimmy, but really? Jerry Jones turned this franchise around. Sorry, Jimmy Johnson turned this franchise around, and he refuses a Ring of Honor?
It's embarrassing, and that's the
also,
problem.
Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson. Jerry Johnson and Jimmy Jones.
Listen, there's no way. Again, that's the core of this clown show when it comes to this organization. And this is just the Jimmy Johnson situation is just a highlight of it, right? We know that's clown show. That's the kind of shit when we talk about here. That's what annoys us about the front office and some of their moves or lack of moves or bad moves, but then just silly stuff like stuff that people need to get commemorated for, like Jimmy Johnson, and just disrespecting them, spitting in their face. Hurting the Cowboy legacy here by doing those things.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred if Jerry just kept on with not saying anything instead of that weird fake pretending he was going to put him in that he did a year and a half ago. I'd rather
2 years
just
ago
keep saying we'll see, instead of saying we're going to do it now.
Yeah.
So real quick, Mary Alvarez, much love to you. Hope everyone is having a great night.
Appreciate you, Mary.
Scorpio rolling through. I'm sorry about your arm, man. Hopefully you're feeling better. Eric Wallace, what's up? I'm going to read Bruce's comment after I touch on Mark Hosepian's $5 holler here.
I'm going to put it up again. Boom, got 5. Mark does 5 on it. What did he say?
He said, other than Saquon, tell me what the Giants have on offense. I hope and pray that they pay him and mess up their cap. Saquon, when healthy, is a top 5 RB.
Agreed. He can catch, run, block, do all that stuff. So no doubt there, but
he hasn't had a healthy year, I think, basically since his rookie year.
Yeah. And again, we talk about our guys always being, not able to last a season. What doesn't happen to Barkley, whether he gets the deal or not, he ain't going to last every game this year.
And
that's a fact.
Let's be honest. We've had these discussions throughout basically the last 2 years since we've been considering moving on from Zeke /
that's true.
tagging and or signing Tony Pollard, right?
They look at the future. They see Zeke here, but Barkley, if they keep if he's their only guy, their weapon, right? Which he is, but there's ways of slowing him down, and they won't win games. By running the ball at Barkley all game. They're just not going to do it. They need a complete offense, and that's where they fail, in my opinion. But hey, you don't want to overlook them, but our defense was going to bash them in. And it's important to note about the Barkley situation, and this is why I'm saying this is why it's bad for the Giants. And it's not even about I'm just telling you the facts. It's not even like I'm trying to say, oh, but look, great for them. We're going to have a one-up on them. But week 1, we play the Giants. And Barkley, yes, he's a professional. He's a fantastic player. He's one of the best there at running back. He's dangerous. He's a dangerous piece. But you got to remember, he's right now, in some ways, slowing down what the Giants are trying to do on offense. And the first game is going to be affected even a little bit by Barkley's missing this. By Barkley missing minicamp, they got to wait to training camp to kind of start implementing him, seeing the new things they tweaked or moved around. And again, we know he probably has the playbook, and of course he's already reading it and going through it, but he hasn't signed that tag yet. So I don't know how they handle that. And every moment that they keep missing time with him hurts the Giants' offense and hurts their team. And as an NFC East foe, hell, let's break him in 2 week 1. That's what I'm saying. And that's more reason, whether he's there or not, he's slowed him down even a little bit. That's another advantage for the opponent. And that's us week 1. And that's all I'm saying. I don't care if they suck, if they're great. We take every advantage, and we should, every opponent that has any kind of deficiency, we should attack it and kill it and tear them open and beat them by 20. That's what we should be doing, all these teams, 20 plus.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see. That's kind of the idea. You see a little weakness from a team, you attack it, and your defense should destroy them.
Bruce got the toxic juice said, I hope that Jerry stubs his toe every day until he puts Jimmy in the Ring of Honor.
Me too.
I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I hope he hits every red light. And I'm like, yeah, but helicopters don't have
they don't have lights. They just fly straight. Yeah. So
I feel like it took a little bit of the wind out of that. Right, real quick. And Mary Alvarez, yes, we actually do. We have it ready to go. We're actually going to be hitting up Mosh later tonight about that, just because we're supposed to do it within the last week and a half or so. Long story short, if you've been around,
our wall fell in.
Yes, our wall from the.
We apologize.
We had a lot of things. We also were missing our doorknob there for a few days.
Let's not even get into it.
That's what I'm saying, guys. It's all good now, but yes, we have it all ready to go, Mary. So we got you. So. Rolling back to a few other comments, Mike Aldana said, just like Rodney Dangerfield, I get no respect. Right? Johnny saying, we've all seen paying running backs lots of money hasn't worked out. Correct. The short life of a running back isn't doesn't make it viable.
Yeah. I mean,
so Cactus D said, when Jerry gets asked about Jimmy, he mutters under his breath, "Over my dead body," and I'm afraid that's really the case. So that's my question though. Do you really see Steven putting Jimmy in the Ring of Honor? Because I have a feeling that when we're talking over my dead body, again, whose? Because I have is it intentional that we're waiting for a posthumous induction into the Ring of Honor?
Two things that will happen, I think, and that's Cowboys win a Super Bowl before Jerry dies, and then he can put him in there without any kind of they're going to talk about Jerry Jones' Super Bowl now. Yeah. They're not going to talk about Jimmy Johnson's
season, this upcoming season. We win the Super Bowl, whatever. Like after
next
that,
year
Jerry will have no problem.
He'll be in the Ring of Honor. And he'll have all his little corner at the Star Tour. But until then, he won't do it. And when he dies, I believe that Stephen Jones will do it. I do believe he'll do it, not in the sense of he suffered long enough. Now my dad's dead or passed away. Now it's like we can do this without upsetting my father. But it is the right thing to do for the team, and everybody has to see that and know that. Even Stephen Jones, even Steve. So
there you go. So let me see here real quick. Scorpio said, to go from once best friends to hatred's insane. If it wasn't for Coach Jimmy winning all those Super Bowls, the Cowboy franchise wouldn't be relevant. Jerry should be thankful for what Jimmy.
We would have a got to. Well, I guess we'd have, I mean, if you didn't have Jimmy Johnson, we'd have a got to still. And you say we want 3. How lame does that sound? So, thank you, Jimmy, for really winning the core of our 5. Okay. Right, 3 of the 5 was Jimmy Johnson. And even though Jerry will take credit for the last one, we know it's Jimmy's team, Jimmy's coaches, Jimmy's players, outside of Deion Sanders. It was Jimmy Johnson's Super Bowl. So now
we're rolling back to
running backs actually, because we talked about Saquon Barkley.
Running backs.
We talked about Saquon Barkley. We're going to talk about Dalvin Cook in the sense of the best free agents available. Of course, we know Dalvin Cook was just cut by the Vikings. Today, Dalvin Cook's agent or news coming out, Dalvin Cook said that he's looking for a significant contract in free agency right now. He's not going to sign a $4 or $5 million contract for a 1-year deal to bounce off. He was looking for a long-term, significant moneyed contract. $10 million probably or more, $7 or $8 million or more. That's not happening in Dallas. I hope people understand this. That'd be a mind-blowing if Dalvin Cook comes to Dallas now that we know more of the details. And we know that stuff changes. But he'll end up getting $6 or $7 million with incentives, and the Cowboys are out of that market as far as I think they are. So we got to shout out the woman in that star level membership, Mary
another
Alvarez.
Player prices himself out of Dallas. No surprise there, right?
After
Mary Alvarez,
borrowing that star a little bit, right?
Representing with a $5 holler.
Wait. Boom. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, MCW, MCF. Appreciate it. No, thank you, Mary. Again, obviously, not exactly typical of us to have things get so discombobulated, but with the YouTube shenanigans, one of the things I'm definitely looking forward to once training camp kicks off is hopefully, percolating some of the perks there on the membership. We've just kind of had to obviously adjust a little bit because the membership situation is still kind of. I mean, we've basically only really been back into it the last 4 weeks or so. So we're still just trying to get back on that side of it.
But we are going to do those star level perks that we had before. We'll call them perks. Yes. Because we don't want YouTube to get all out of, we know what we're talking about when we talk about those jerseys. So you know what's coming for that star level soon. Soon we're doing those again. But right now,
that's why I said we're trying to get around training camp just because that's kind of the timeline.
Yeah. Into training camp sometime will be probably maybe that August. August probably that first month, of redoing those star level stuff and other jersey stuff that we got going on here and other prizes and things that we have here on MyCowboysFamily to make it a whole experience, right? So thank you, Mary Alvarez, the 5 on it. Knocking Mark down to 95, Hankins. And again, appreciate you, Mary. Got you on that board. By the way, also, I forgot to say this the other day, but Tammy Soltis, right there above me, her membership back in that Navy Blue crew. Appreciate you up there tied with Mary Alvarez in, 10th place, or 9th place. So appreciate you guys, both the ladies here, repping that star for everything here with the family. So appreciate it. Now, going back to this real quick with Dalvin Cook, he's rated, according to ESPN Plus, Matt Bowens, he's rated Dalvin Cook as their number 1 free agent out there available. Number 2, DeAndre Hopkins. Of course, we know he's been released, and of course, Cowboys are out of that market right now for him, right? So the 3rd most eligible free agent right now is a defensive edge rusher formerly of the Colts, Yannick Ngakoue, who he's kind of fallen off a little bit, but he used to be really, really a really good player. Marcus Peters, cornerback, Ravens last year. Now, free agent still out there, still available and ranked up there at 4th. You know who's 5th on this list? From the Broncos. Left guard Dalton Reisner, who I've been talking about for who knows how long. And Dalton Reisner is the 5th best remaining free agent according to most analysts. I don't know what he's asking for money-wise, but the Cowboys shouldn't have a problem getting him. If they really wanted him, they could get him in for $4 million probably, or $5 million with incentives. Why don't they do that? I don't know. You want to secure that left guard spot? Dalton Reisner is my top choice. And he's the 5th top choice in all positions in all free agency left right now.
Yeah, one of the more surprising things I think throughout this offseason, I generally did think the Cowboys would make another O-line move, and the fact that it seems to be, we're happy with the guys we have. I mean, again, not knocking the talent we have, but definitely side-eyeing some of the depth that we have. And I think that is a fair thing to bring up. And again, like you have brought up repeatedly and like you're pointing out just now, it's not like there isn't someone out there available that wouldn't be an immediate upgrade. And it's not like we can't afford him either.
Yeah, these guys are not breaking the bank for anyone, especially Dalton Reisner. I don't see that happening. And you look at our moves, this free agency period here, you're looking at Chuma Edoga, their addition. He's a guy that you can see, is a guy we're looking at tackle and guard right now. Really left tackle backup. We're looking at Chuma Edoga. You making a move for offensive lineman that way. You're seeing one of the guys leaving, Connor McGovern, getting $8 million a year over there, as far as offensive linemen are concerned. So to me, it's like Chuma Edoga is really the only offensive lineman we're really going to pick up from another team outside of our own guys, outside of the guys we picked up undrafted or Asim Richards, the free agent. Either way, however you look at this.
No, I agree. And just kind of touching on a comment that I think ties into a little bit what we're talking about here. Seabass said Gallup is undetermined, as is Pollard, until we see them in live games, which is why he supports the D-Cook and the D-Hop kind of rumors there. But that's why I say we have to look at the actual needs. Because for one, Pollard, to me, is determined. We saw what he did last year is going to be exactly what he did this year and then some. He's going to look better. And remember, his type of injury is not the kind that's going to hold him back or anything. He's already basically 100% ready to go now based on the timeline. So by the time he hits training camp, it's just a matter of him doing what he has to do. Michael Gallup is the one that I think maybe I could see it a tiny bit more there, but even the front office kind of came out and said that last year was him basically just healing and that he should be back to, the 100% Michael Gallup we all know and love. So, which that Michael Gallup is the one that earned his contract.
Yeah,
so, like I said, I can see it a little bit more there, a tiny bit, but it's still, those two things, even if you acted as if they were slight needs for backup, it still pales in comparison to what we need at the O-line and specifically either tackle guard spot. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think backup center-wise, we're all pretty okay.
Farniok's probably going to be that guy, right? But then you're looking at the left tackle. I'm sorry, the left guard spot, other than Tyler Smith, it's a big hole right now.
And knowing going into it that Terrence Steele is coming off the injury. MCL times 3, whatever the heck injury it was, the fact that we know that Tyron Smith, even if everything goes well, he's going to get banged up and miss a few games.
Like, miss games.
I don't know. It does feel like the Cowboys are almost purposely finding themselves in a scenario where we're like, oh shit, what are we going to do?
We're literally testing fate and destiny, but knowing that it's going to be injury there. So that's my issue.
I miss Travis Frederick too, but honestly, again,
Farniok's not Farniok, but Biadasz has really picked it up. He's a guy, he's on his contract year. We're going to miss him.
I always accepted that after Frederick, anyone who came in after him was always going to look like crap, to be honest. Yeah. Not because they're crappy, but because Frederick was just
so good.
You were not ever going to see that again, at least in my lifetime. So I'm just glad I was able to see it in my lifetime. And also meet him that one time.
Yeah, that's true. Frederick was awesome.
Real quick, Drums and Cowboys said, I think Gallup is the natural number 3, and he should have a breakout year. So, and honestly, as long as injury-wise, and knock on wood, he's trending the way that he was supposed to, technically it's around September where he should be truly the injury is such as a thing of the past. Yeah. So brings us right to the start of the season.
All right,
I talked way too much there.
No, we love you talking there. I think you got to check something. But I also think I want to also throw on this here because I also want to show Sim Richards. Awesome Richards, I guess. Awesome. He is they're picked in the 6th round. Well, not 6th round. No, the 5th round. I think we got him in the 5th round, Sim Richards.
Yeah, because Eric was the
first 6th round
pick.
Yeah, he was the one we traded up for.
Yeah,
moved it up. But Sim Richards is the guy who's going to be playing some of that left guard, playing around there, left tackle. But I still like Let's Go. I I don't like Josh Ball. I like Matt Walesko playing that tackle spot, backup kind of swing. And then we'll see about Chuma Edoga. We'll see about Sim Richards, who definitely will get, some opportunities there, being a rookie. And, it's going to be slow, but he'll be worked into the mix there. I'm just curious how that's going to work, but still too many holes in there. Too many holes.
Too many holes.
Too many holes.
Sorry, cracking me up here real quick. So yeah, Seabass saying Gallup healthy is a true, second receiver, 2A, 2B. So agree.
But Brandon Cooks is a 1A, 1B type of guy. That's what's crazy.
He is.
We got some high talent.
But you also again, I guess. Sorry, you said Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
not.
Yeah.
See, this is man. We're gonna have to start color coding. Oh, you can't color code a name. Ignore me, guys. It's a late night. Manuel Trillo, what's up? Skeptical fan in the house. Much love to you. Yeah, I think we all have a soft spot for Travis Frederick, right? James Hurd saying, I've tried to sign Hopkins and put some dudes who can ball every week out there, guys who can take over a game.
And again,
that does seem to where we have to go back to, again, price tag. I mean, if the Cowboys don't even sign a backup for a cheap and reasonable 3 to 4-ish million range, right? Like, there's no way they're going to go after a guy who's going to cost them much more than that, or a guy who is looking to sign a big contract.
Let me just say this. Dalvin Cook, who's not looking for anything really short term. Again, he can't, beggars can't be choosers, but it sounds like there's a bunch of teams looking at him. So he's going to go for $8, $9, $10, $11 million. And who knows, 2, 3, 4 years. No for the Cowboys. Great. He is a great player, but he's also injury riddled sometimes. He's got that shoulder issue. No matter what they're saying, it's good to go. It's not good to go. And so there's a lot of things to watch. We know about the Zeke situation when you run the guy to the ground. Not Zeke's fault, but the front office really in that one, in my mind. But the point is, when you do that, that player's not going to be very good overall, because you're slowing him down in many ways, hurting him in some ways.
It's a delicate in between where you're right. We could use him, and it's not like we wouldn't be able to use him, but we don't need him enough to make the effort to go after him.
It's like what you said. I mean, number one, I think we can get Zeke for making, eventually he might be able to be gotten for $2 million if you really love a kind of running back that can give you power running back. That's Zeke in that sense if you really wanted to, but it's not going to be 8, 9, 10, $11 million with Dalvin Cook. And when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins, he's looking for 14, 15 million. I mean, or more. We figure more. Yeah, he's visiting the Tennessee Titans today. He's going to go see the Patriots in a couple of days. So we'll see what happens. But you can bet your ass the Cowboys ain't paying that. So that price tag is a major deterrent to think that we're going to pick up any of these guys, even if it would make our team better, even if we can afford it. The Cowboys, they're saving that money for, I'm assuming, Trayvon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons, and maybe Dak Prescott as well in the next year or year and a half. So we'll have to see. Now, again, we hitting the chat up.
Yeah, real quick. Got 5. Mr. MCF has definitely shown the shirt off a few times before. You see
my little bouncing little, VTuber there saying, want 6 or
yeah.
So yeah,
we want 6. I think that's why you have a few variations of it. So but real quick, we do have a shout out to give.
Yes, we do.
If I'm not mistaken.
And his name, why he's here. His name is SnugX.
Thank you, Snug.
A Tony Pollard $20 holler.
Perfect timing there.
What did he say, baby? I know it went through. Did he send a message?
He said "Go Cowboys," of course.
Oh, I went "Go Cowboys."
He always said "Go Cowboys." So
always love to go Cowboys. SnugX, appreciate you, brother. And he's in first place on the above board here. Second place. He's first place on the Cash App board, second place on the overall board behind Mark Hovsepian currently. So again, appreciate you, both of you guys rocking it, and SnugX, one of the all-time greats here, legends on my Cowboys family with the MCF and of course MCW. We know why. So now,
Frank, what's up? Hello,
Frank in the house, Drums and Cowboy, Seabass. Should I continue now on our discussion about defense?
So I will read this. I was going to say this final comment here because I think it wraps all of these things up. Scorpio said it. If the coaches saw that our receiving rookies couldn't step up, they'd be protesting to get D-Hop. I guess they feel confident enough that Turpin or Simi or someone can step it up this season.
And we're going to discuss that importance in the preseason games. Those are some things to look for. When you look at these games, are these guys going to be able to pick up that 4th and 5th spot? The Tolbert, the Simi Fehoko, the Turpin.
The reason I wanted to point that out is, again, the same reason we say that about maybe the receiving positions or others. That's probably how the Cowboys apparently feel about our O-line.
It's unfortunate.
Now, we might feel differently.
Right. I know.
But that's how they feel.
Now, we know that this guy right here, Micah Parsons, is one of the best, if not the best defensive player in the league right now, but matching him up with another guy here. Again, Micah Parsons is rated as one of the top 6 defensive, edge rushers in the NFL. He's probably 5th. You can put him there top 5. You're also seeing Micah also being listed as the top disruptor in the NFL. Whether it's run or pass, whether he's linebacker or edge. So Micah Parsons, obviously, he's a one-man wrecking crew. But what about duos at the edge? Duos, one side and the other side, 2 guys, right? The top 32 duos in the NFL, they've been ranked by PFF. We don't have to look past 5, right, for us. Because when you have DeMarcus Lawrence and you have Micah Parsons, outside of Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns and Zadarius Smith, they just, that's the 1-2 punch that's been rated number 1. Number 2 is Micah Parsons and Marcus Lawrence, according to PFF. Number 3 is Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. They also included Brandon Graham in the mix. That's from the Eagles. The Chargers 4th, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. Pretty damn good there. Steelers, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and on and on. But my thing is this, Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence ranked 2nd on this list. And a lot of people say, imagine if we had a little bit better, edge rusher. 'Cause that's the thing. I think DeMarcus Lawrence falls off in the pass rushing side. That's what actually dropped this group down a little bit. But that's not what it's always about with DeMarcus Lawrence. See, a lot of people are mad that, he hasn't had 10 or more sacks for a long time, right? We know this, DeMarcus Lawrence. So people are saying, why are you setting him up for the impression that he's going to be improving this season? And I don't think it's about the improving side. I think it's about what he can do consistently wise. And that is stop the running game going his way. He sets the edge up. Fantastic. Every single week. It's very hard to run to his side. So he already helps you tremendously in the run stop. Now, we didn't pay him. Well, last year was $10 million, so it was a very good deal last year, Pro Bowler. But we didn't pay DeMarcus Lawrence 20 whatever million he's getting this year to be just a run stopper. So he's an interior pass rusher now, more than an edge rusher. So I think you got to look at that. I think you can maybe see Sam Williams jump into this mix, not necessarily this year, but in the near future.
I mean, let's be honest. With the addition of Mozzie Smith, which again
Inside,
is a whole different thing, it takes off a lot of the pressure, I think.
That's true.
For Tank to almost feel like he has to not overperform necessarily, but again, his main job there was to obviously stop the run or plug that in there. So now that he has almost the freedom, I should say, now he has the freedom to be able to focus on, maybe pass rushing more, some of his other more versatile positions or things that he does. I'm just saying, basically we were kind of limited a little bit before because we were forced to use him much more to stop the run. Of course, that's still going to be one of his main priorities here, but now we can use him in a way that hopefully will produce some of the stats that I think people are wanting to see from D-Law.
The injuries slowed him down as far as getting a lot of consistency on the outside pass rush, but again, with Dan Quinn, and he's done this 2 years in a row, not to stop the run, baby, to go on pass rushing downs. 3rd and 12, DeMarcus Lawrence is coming from the inside. He's lining up as a 3-tech. And you're seeing Osa, the other guy out there, or Gallimore or something like that, but now I think you're going to see, you're still going to see DeMarcus Lawrence rushing from the inside. So as an edge, he's not really a pass rushing edge as much anymore. He's an interior 3-tech pass rusher. That's what the way Dan Quinn's using DeMarcus Lawrence. You look at him as a pass rusher, not an edge rusher. He has big value in stopping the run as an edge. He'll play on the outside to stop the run on first down. Then they move him on a 3rd and 12, and he comes inside. So
I guess we did use him a little differently after he got banged up last year.
The year before that, when he got hurt, and you got to remember, then we had Dan Quinn kind of moving him to the inside and kind of letting him develop as a pass rusher from the 3-tech position. So he was very disruptive, by the way, knocking the ball around, caused a couple interceptions because of that. So again, I don't know if people really can understand the fact that it's more than just. This is about edge defender rankings. It's also run stopping.
Yeah, Rolando said, I'm very upset when D-Law's on the sidelines on 3rd down. It happened too many times last year.
Well,
I'm guessing it was more of an injury situation.
Well, it could have been injury, but also it could have been.
I swear he was kind of not like seriously hurt.
2 years ago he was. Remember, he broke his foot.
Banged up. Yeah, but.
He's always banged up, though. He's always kind of banged up.
I know.
Every season. So what Dan Quinn always tries to do is kind of rotate him out so he gets a little bit of rest. That's the way you make him last longer. So you don't want him every single time in there. But you want Sam Williams and Micah Parsons sometimes. So you take DeMarcus Lawrence out, or you move him to the 3-tech interior, or you give him a break. I think there's different ways you can utilize him, and I truly think that I don't know. I think that when you incorporate the run stop, because look, Micah Parsons as a run stopper, That's his weakness. That's his weakness. We can say he's gaining bulk now, he's gaining weight, so that's going to make him better. Okay, maybe, but we didn't see that yet. We know DeMarcus Lawrence is a much better run stopper than Micah Parsons. So as an edge defender, not an edge rusher, edge defender, you see where in the run game, Micah's down here, and DeMarcus Lawrence is up here. But you can reverse that when it comes to pass rush, from the outside especially. From the inside, DeMarcus Lawrence has value, but he's not that splash guy he used to be. All right, and we're going to be paying him splash money. So that's the big issue with him. But if it doesn't matter if the rest of the guys come to play and Dan Quinn defense is going to continue to work as well as it has, if that stuff happens, it won't matter. Everybody will get a handprint on that ball, on the quarterback's, getting hits on the quarterback and getting pressure on the quarterback and sacks whoever. Somebody's going to get it. Maybe DeMarcus Lawrence, it may not. Who cares? Someone's going to get it, and that's what this whole defensive front's going to do. I don't care where that money's spent. It's thrown in the mix. It can mix it up within them. Who cares? As long as they're getting production, it's worth every freaking penny. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave it at that because DeMarcus Lawrence, guys, had 2 goal line stops last year against one against the Lions and caused a fumble on the goal line. Remember that? We were almost going to lose that game. DeMarcus Lawrence has saved games sometimes in the run stop portion of things, causing turnovers. The Texans game, he also knocked the ball out there as well. Guys, it's not just quarterback pressure and sacks. The only number you look at when you look at DeMarcus Lawrence at this point of his career. I'm just saying that's good move, bad move. You don't like I'm not crazy about the money spent, but you're getting value still out of him. Major value in the run, in the pass, defense. So, and he fits Dan Quinn's situation right now. Eventually, he'll probably be gone, and you'll see Sam Williams take over that spot. Eventually. But right now, it's great to see Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence there, kind of repping. Right now, according to PFF and their analytics, the second best duo of the NFL when it comes to the edge defensive player, edge defender.
Hey.
So there you go.
Well, that's a nice little feather in our cap.
I'm just saying, it's more of not a feather. It's more like the expectation this year. Let's see both these guys, keep that kind of that analytical domination. Because again, stopping the run by DeMarcus Lawrence. It wasn't a literal feather.
No, it's just a way of saying that's a nice.
It's a guide, right? Because that's for 2023. So they're saying that's where they should happen. So we'll see. I mean, I think that if you look at the PFF analytics, they love pouring in the run-stopping stuff. So that really heightens the DeMarcus Lawrence rankings, and I think that's why maybe the way they rated him, they put him in second place. You look at what we just talked about the other day. I think was it yesterday? About Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore? They were ranked in the same PFF rankings. When they ranked the cornerbacks, they were ranked 3rd overall in the NFL. This duo right here. This dynamic duo of Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore. So they were ranked 3rd in the NFL. In the NFC, we were first ranked, highest ranked of any NFC team, these 2 cornerbacks. I also want to say that, of course, Darius Slay got the number 1 ranking in the NFC. Mm-hmm. But then we had like Stephon Gilmore, and then we had Trayvon Diggs like 4th or 5th. And then Bradbury for the Eagles was 10th. So even though they were right there behind us, Cowboys had to have the best, according to most analytics and PFF, the best NFC cornerback duo. 3rd best in the NFL. I think they had the Jets with Sauce. And I think they had the Dolphins with their duo with Ramsey and Howard as the second one. I think the Cowboys were 3rd. But I'm adding this, just one quick little mention. Don't forget about DeRon Bland, the trio now, right? Cornerback trio. Because, again, Jordan Lewis, we know he's got great skills in the slot. There's no doubt there. Again, he's costing $5 million this year, I think, against the cap. And he's on the PUP list, physically unable to perform list.
Yeah,
so
we still don't really know what that's going to look like heading into the season.
So we know DeRon Bland's got to be the starter. He's got to be the starter going in, and I feel good about that. That's kind of passing the torch, I think. But when you look at the analytics, now DeRon Bland was ranked high as a slot defensive player, so keep that in mind. But also, when it counts the most, in the 4th quarter, the most 4th quarter interceptions last year, Jaire Alexander from the Green Bay Packers, and also Rasul Douglas from the Packers. So they're ranked up there high, I think 3rd on this list. But DeRon Bland also on this list of most 4th quarter interceptions last year. DeRon Bland had 4 with the other 2 Packer players. That led, not just the NFC, the NFL in most 4th quarter interceptions. So DeRon Bland, as a slot, comes to play when it's the 4th quarter. I mean, he plays the whole game, but he gets those interceptions in that 4th. He's matched up with some of the best in the league. And again, at any cornerback position, fantastic. When you add DeRon Bland into the mix here, I think you have a terrific trio.
It's nice to have a player that has stats that go in the right direction as far as making plays when they really count. Because obviously, yes, you can make plays whenever, but it'd be similar if he had, for overtime interceptions or something. As far as like the impact,
Right.
having it in the fourth quarter does
Major impact.
show you that we're still playing, of course, not just all the way to the end, but that you can impact the game and make sure things continue to go your way.
You can turn the tide. You can solidify. You can end the game.
So exactly, end the game, solidify your lead. Like it's so many things happening there. But either way, finishing off a game strong.
So
that's never a bad thing.
That was last year with DaRon Bland as a rookie, 5th rounder, not even expected to do much, having to jump in there when Jordan Lewis was lost for the year. So imagine that now this year, a whole offseason workout with the Cowboys, knows the system better, second year, just going to get better. And then you got Stephon Gilmore helping you instead of Anthony Brown. Now you have even a better defensive rush that's coming even stronger and harder, and you got the run stop now done. You can focus more on coverage and not worry about the run. The run. So DaRon Bland now is going to, I think, be better even than last year. He's going to show, he's going to make another jump, I think, this season. And when you add him into this mix, we have the best trio maybe in the NFL. I'm not joking. And Jordan Lewis, if we keep him and everything works out, imagine him. I mean, shit, we got the best quad crew here of cornerbacks in the NFL from a couple years ago when it was like Trayvon Diggs maybe, right? We hoping, second-round pick. Anthony Brown trash and this guy trash. I mean, we just got rid of Byron Jones. I'm just saying, like, so we were like scrambling at cornerback. Now we got like the best cornerback crew in the NFL. Definitely the top 4 in my opinion in the NFL, and in the NFC the top 2 without question. So I don't know. I'm loving it with Bland in the mix. We stay in the first place, I think, in the NFC and maybe in the NFL. What do you guys think? Because DaRon Bland to me is a major player, baby, coming in. And showing out. I had big ratings on him. I didn't think he'd do this, though, in last year.
I don't think any of whatever expectations we had or anyone had, completely blown out of the water.
Agree.
But real quick, Seabass, technically Frank Moyer did get that because it was gifted to him by Skeptical Fan.
What was that?
It wasn't necessarily intentional, and he can't control who they go to.
What is he doing?
But Frank, is chill. Even if he is an Eagle fan. He's always been repping it here at MCF. So, yes. Real quick, Skeptical saying, how long is Lewis going to be on the PUP list?
That's a big question. That's a big question, yeah. We don't know.
Who knows? His comments about his injury don't exactly leave us with a positive mindset, though, because he basically admitted that even the doctors said this was the worst type of this kind of injury we've basically ever seen in our medical profession here by one of you guys. So, I don't know. Maybe use that in your configurations. Realistically speaking, the fact that we haven't just outright moved on from him leads me to believe that the Cowboys obviously still feel like there is some hope there. Because otherwise, I feel like even though he would have hit us for $4 or $5 million or whatever, if he was gonna be useless,
what are you doing then? You got to release him, right?
Moved on.
So there's got to be something there still left in Jordan Lewis. But I think also the Cowboys also know that maybe if he can get on the field a little bit, if he gets in a preseason game, the Cowboys can maybe trade him. Just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know if you'll get what you'll get for him, right? Because he's an injured guy coming off an injury. Right?
You could knock me over with a feather if we managed to trade
him.
Trade? Like, even for a nickel. I'm just saying, like, I can't see any team trading for a player that, again, just came off of such a serious
I hear you. You're right. So, but, I say Dorrance Armstrong, definitely the higher trade value there. Yeah. But, Jordan Lewis would be the higher cut.
Never say never.
Well, Jordan Lewis would be the higher cut option there if DaRon Bland, is definitely their next guy. Again, without Jordan Lewis on the field, it's got to be DaRon Bland. He's practicing now. He's taking all the reps there. So DaRon Bland's going to be the guy in that slot position. So I truly think with Jordan Lewis or DaRon Bland, we still got the best trio of cornerbacks in the NFC and maybe the NFL. And you add the fourth guy in and Jordan Lewis healthy, the best 4 cornerbacks on a team. It's got to be the Cowboys. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, and Lewis is on the last year of his deal, right?
Jordan Lewis is...
the last year.
I think
this is the last year of his deal.
He had a 2-year deal with us last year. So this is the last year.
And like we said, he's due for around $5 million.
But there's a way of saving money on this if we cut him at a certain point. I'm not sure when the guarantees 100% kick in, but I don't know if it's passed already. Maybe that's another reason for it. But either way, the Cowboys are going to make the best of it one way or the other, I guess. Now, moving on to kind of my points here, a little bit when it comes to Jabril Cox in the linebacker position. Now, we talked about the pass rush. Mm-hmm. We talked about, the front end, DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. We talked about the back end with the cornerbacks. We always talk about the safeties, right? But we talked about Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, Deron Bland. Now let's talk about linebackers. And starting with this guy right here, baby, right in your face, Jabril Cox. Doesn't sound good. But anyways, Jabril Cox competing for more snaps this year in 2023. It's important to note he had a very good kind of practice. I've talked about it on our video and on multiple live streams that we've had here. But he's showing the kind of the way we thought he'd be when he was drafted in the 4th round. At least so far, this is the best offseason he's had in his 3rd year now with the Cowboys. So, again, he tore that ACL in the rookie season, and that still affected him last year. According to McCarthy, it was a major effect on him, but McCarthy's like, he's really shown a lot. We got to see him show a lot in practice, at least these first, low impact practices. Now, like I said, week 8 of his rookie year, he tore his ACL, and that pretty much did him in for the next year and a half, which covers 2 seasons, right? So, it was hard for Michael Gallup to adjust from his torn ACL, even when he got back on that field, right? When he was, quote-unquote, ready to go. Similar to, again, and even last year, Jabril Cox, training camp, he missed a lot of training camp. They were still tending to that knee, taking it slow. So this was obviously still showing effects a year after the injury. McCarthy, when he was asked about Jabril Cox, he said, quote, when you have players that have major injury that first year back after surgery, after getting an injury, the first time they're getting through a number of things, and that causes a little slowdown. He said, quote, major joint injuries take time. Some guys totally never come back or don't come back immediately. Yeah. He said it's usually until that 2nd year when they can function properly again. And that's what we're seeing, similar to what Jabril Cox is doing on that field right now. Now, the linebacker spots, who's starting? LVE, inside, right? And again, a lot of people might not realize this, but Damone Clark is not going to be Jabril Cox. Anthony Barr is gone. It is Damone Clark, number 33, starting there with LVE. And, of course, Micah Parsons also can play linebacker whenever the hell he wants to. Whenever, we know he's in that mix if Dan Quinn wants him. But Jabril Cox now has a chance to make a case to maybe push for more playing time with that linebacking crew, that linebacking core in games now. Now, minicamp this past Tuesday, he did incredible. And on consecutive downs, back-to-back downs, Jabril Cox made plays that resulted in the team swarming him at the end of the field. The first time they swarmed him somewhat, then they got back, it was only 3rd down. The 4th down play, he made another great play at the ball, and both passes were thrown by Cooper Rush. And they were good passes. It was Jabril Cox's ability to make the break for the interception, or to break to knock down the ball, to knock the ball out. It was in the red zone. It was for the win. And 3rd down, great pass by Cooper Rush, but better coverage by Jabril Cox. Same thing the next down, knocked the ball down, celebration. So he did fantastic stuff there. That was doing 2-minute drill, and broke up these passes, set up 3rd down, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal. 4th and goal, and then turnover on downs. So. Everybody, they're right now, Jabril Cox is showing something at this offseason practice. So, again, the best. Is he going to break out this year? I don't know.
I have to admit that it's not that I've lost all hope in Jabril Cox. I just am less than neutral. You know what I mean?
Understandable.
Lackluster.
Understandable.
Is probably the better word for it. But
he hasn't done this in other seasons.
And like I said, the good thing is he kind of pointed it out because of his specific type of joint injury. Yeah. This is around, similar to Michael Gallup. This is around the time where you would expect them to actually start to, really look like their old selves, or really look like they're back to being healthy and stuff. And at least Jabril Cox has had, a little bit more time to learn our playbook, know what we're doing. So at least on the knowledge side of things, hopefully he has a leg up, and now it's just a matter of waiting for his body to catch up. So I guess in that sense, I'm willing to, like I said, keep an open mind.
McCarthy is talking about him in a way that he's talked about Terrence Steele, and he's talking about Sam Williams and Jalen Tolbert. So,
which I think for most of us is surprising, but when I guess you consider some of these factors, you can see why, again, it could just be like a lot of very quick progress in a short amount of time if the physical part of things is the only thing really keeping him back.
I agree.
So hopefully that means that he is a little bit more.
The key for him, though, is the coverage. That's why I'm making a point. I'm not saying about the run stopping stuff. It's about coverage. And that was his thing coming out of LSU. That's what we liked about him when we drafted him in the 4th round. So, Cox and Ball drafted in the 4th round. But the point is, Jabril Cox, guys, his skill set, his best thing is his raw coverage skills. And really, it's really what I'm hearing is the best. He has the best coverage skills of any linebacker in our team right now. Out of everybody out there, the best coverage guy is Jabril Cox. So that's something to keep in mind going into this season. If he can produce, guys, if he can produce something, he would put a defense even on a more dominant level. Just a little bit from Jabril Cox. A little Cox could go a long way in this defense. So the Cowboys get a good year from him, guys. Again, not great, not Pro Bowl. Damone Clark's going to be starting, and that's who we should be looking at a lot more.
Guys, even an average Cox here would make a big difference.
so again, and then you got Damone Clark, you got LV. They're playing the linebacker role as a starter. When they need that coverage guy, one of them come out. LV comes out. Damone Clark might come out, and then Cox comes in. So now, I think
any scenario where he's getting significant snaps, actually able to contribute to part of, like you said, a rotation here, and it's not a step back, that's a win to me.
And that's why I stress,
even if it's only like 5 a game at this point, like, it's
5 to 10 snaps.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, we have to start somewhere. So even if it's in a limited fashion for now, to me that's still a big step forward if we're able to do it in a way where he actually looks good.
I think
the difference maker.
In preseason, we're going to see a lot more of Jabril Cox, but in the regular season, I mean, we might see. I'm hoping
actually, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of Jabril Cox.
A lot of Cox in the preseason games, but in the regular season, I'm thinking more. If you get him even 10 to 15. I mean, 15 to 20 would be incredible to me. If you get him 15 to 20 snaps a game from Jabril Cox, you're in the regular season. That's going to be. I mean, that's way beyond what I expect to happen. I see more 10 to maybe 15 snaps, specifically passing downs and stuff like that. Yeah, that was
I was just about to say I agree with that. Outside of an injury situation or maybe just a rest thing, maybe time-wise, the other guys are just out on the field for a really long time. So, in a particular game, maybe Jabril Cox gets a few extra snaps to give the other guys, I'm just trying to throw it out there. But, like, other scenarios outside of, or again, maybe we put him away early. Jabril Cox gets, extra play time towards the end of the game just because defensively we're trying to get, the rest of our younger guys worked in there a little more, which we've seen before. So a few scenarios there, and of course the one that we don't want to see, injury, right? At that point, he really has to step it up.
Yeah, listen, I think that again, we got to hope that there's no injury going on here with the Jabril Cox situation, but let's just, again, we talk about a very small sample size of what Jabril Cox may bring to the table this year or not. Without question, I think we can all agree, it's a confidence booster to have an offseason that he's had so far for Jabril Cox. It bodes well to maybe take this forward into the training camps and preseason games, right? So if he consistently does what he's done so far in minicamp, if he does this in the training camp side of things, the preseason games, as what we look towards this preseason, and we're going to focus on offense, but Jabril Cox is going to get a lot of preseason snaps. We can then maybe revisit this conversation as we get ready closer to our first week 1 game. But let's say he doesn't. What if he falters even a little bit? Jabril, I'm taking both sides of this. I'm looking at both sides of this coin. To me, it opens a big door for Agent Zero, who might be changing his number, and that's Demarion Overshown. Demarion Overshown, he is a rookie, 3rd-round pick, loved by the front office. So, they already got an advantage getting snaps in there. And to me, if Cox doesn't impress, training camp and on, it's this guy here. It's going to take those snaps. Demarion Overshown. Now, is that great or not? I don't know. It's still going to be a limited snap count. You got to hope no one, knock on wood, LV or Damone Clark, they don't get hurt. But I don't think Jabril Cox is going to be a big run stopper either. If you have to come in. So to me, either guy, both these guys are seeing in front of my screen here. I think Jabril Cox is the better pass coverage guy. He's the best coverage guy in our linebacker squad. And I think Overshown is going to be more of an impact, even though he's not maybe a run stopper by himself as a linebacker. He is definitely a good run support player, and he will give you hits. He can cover as well. He used to be a safety, but he can hit you hard as well and be impactful. Even though he's undersized. Both these guys are undersized as the backups to our starters there, to LVE, Damone Clark, and Micah Parsons. So Overshown will step in there, and I think he'll be hungry enough to kind of try to take a big bite out of his snaps. You might see 10 snaps, 15 snaps from Overshown on passing downs or certain run downs. When they want to overload it and get a 3rd linebacker, 4th linebacker, then you see Overshown. If Jabril Cox does not start panning out, not just for a small sample size in the minicamp and the OTAs, but in training camp, preseason games, and of course into the season itself. So what do you think? Any thoughts on this? Maybe as far as, as we get ready for the Giants in week 1, no major injuries? keep these good news coming out of camp.
Honest,
I don't know.
He wouldn't be the first or the last Cowboy to end up with his spot just because someone in front of him had a misstep or a bad day. And Overshown is a guy that the Cowboys seem to really like too.
I mean, we think he has very, very good potential. But this could be a little too soon to throw him in the mix. Although, again, he's not starting. Remember, we're talking about the depth spot here at linebacker. So, Jabril Cox, Overshown. Jabril Cox, it's his to lose. And Overshown's right there with him.
I could see Overshown having a Sam Williams-esque type of impact 20% in the sense that, he's not going to get more than 15 to 20% of the snaps, right? He's not a starter. He's a rotational piece. He's probably going to struggle a little bit there, especially in the beginning when he just kind of gets thrown in there, whatever.
Okay.
But he does seem like the type of guy whose ability will quickly surpass that. And especially because I really like his physical abilities too. I feel like that's where you're going to see him shine the most, especially with, again, talking big picture, everything else we have going on. So, if we really end up in this position,
not a bad guy to fall back to.
Is that really the worst thing that could happen?
And again, he'll be getting minimal snaps. Remember that. So he won't be getting all he'll do is he's jumping Jabril Cox. That's all he's really kind of doing there. He's not going to be getting. He might be getting instead of Cox getting 15 snaps. Overshown gets 13 or 14 of those snaps. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Which again, is that a bad thing?
Well, eventually it's a great thing if he can do it. So
yeah, it feels like again we're investing in our future because our right now didn't quite work out. Right?
Yeah.
So
we're gonna roll in the offense here.
Burn Bar, what's up? Much love.
Burn in the house.
Let me see. Drums and Cowboys said, being from Texas and following the Longhorns, I'm calling it right now. Overshown is going to contribute on defense.
But again, I think I love your comment about Sam Williams. Sam Williams was a second-round pick last year, got about 25% of the snaps. Overshown might get about 25% of the snaps.
Yeah, and obviously with or without Jabril
Cox.
But like I said,
still
similar,
important.
Yes.
Day 2 pick. And a guy that the Joneses love. And again, remember, it's really about Jabril Cox. If he can't really put it up, Overshown's going to he's going to take those 15 or 20% of the snaps and make that 25 to 30% of the snaps.
And let me ask you something, baby.
Ask away.
What makes for good football? What makes for good team building? What's that key element there that helps elevate everybody around them just a little bit more? Is it competition?
Maybe? That's always good.
Maybe.
Can't hurt
right?
that little
the offense
competition.
going up against the defense, right? Zach Martin's comments the other day saying, I can't wait till training camp, facing off against Mozzie Smith. That's going to be so fun.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the watch.
In my mind, there's nothing wrong with Jabril Cox and Overshown having some nice, healthy,
it's going to be a battle.
Friendly teammate competition just to say, hey, I'm going to do my best, you're going to do my best, and let whoever wins
the best guy win.
So,
and I think that when you're looking at depth, that's the key here. You're looking at basically who's the fourth and who's the fifth. And you look at that at receiver, we talked about that till we're blue in the face. It's something we're going to be watching in preseason when it comes to who gets snaps on defense. Because, again, I want to make sure we say this. We're going to go to the offense here in a minute. I also want to do a couple of shout-outs here real quick. But just think about this, guys. The Cowboys preseason games on defense, we just discussed a couple of important factors that we're going to be watching. Whether when it comes to the linebacker spot, how much are we going to see of Demarion Overshown? How much are we going to see of Jabril Cox? And how they're going to do? It's going to determine who's that fourth and fifth guy on this team. As we discuss, other guys in the past here in the defensive line and on the defensive backfield side of things, this is one of the bigger question marks you can say is the depth at linebacker. Who's going to be that fourth, fifth guy behind Micah, LVE, and Damone Clark? Those are our top guys, and Micah is kind of not even a guy there. He'll play 20% of the season at linebacker. So who's that third linebacker? That's a big question. Jabril Cox, Demarion Overshown. There's a couple other guys you can add to the mix. Devin Harper. We'll have to wait and see. The battle ensues in preseason games. So I'm going to talk about the offense here in a minute, baby. Before I even go there, everybody remember to hit that like button.
Yes, take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in the Discord as well. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah.
And an extra special shout out to the sponsor of the week.
Boom.
And the Cash App King, David S. Thank you so much, David. Appreciate you.
Yes. Much love to David S. because he also got the leader on that overall board, and he just dropped it tonight. Some love from above. The man Snug X, who's currently in the lead in first place in the Cash App side. Now, of course, you got David S. He's repping that sponsor of the week. Marco Sepien is got that lead right now, as you can look right above there on the overall board for this week, and tonight we will crown champions here. SnugX in second place, Skeptical in third. But Marco Sepian's also got 95 points on that stream boss, almost fully loaded. Much love to everybody repping the boards tonight. And again, other ways that people can drop the love here on a little commercial break, I guess you can say. What's the ways, baby?
You do have the Cash App, money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at my-cowboys-family, the regular PayPal link there, and last but not least, you have the Streamlabs link. Lets your comment show up right on screen, just like a super chat would.
Yeah,
so
we still got that, the memberships. We got the super chats. You got the gifting memberships. Much love to Skeptical Fan. And Jason Renfro this month, they've been rocking it. So Skeptical Fan is the master, the king of the gifting membership club there. So much love to him.
Thank you, Skeptical.
Yes. Now, as we continue this here, I want to jump to the offensive side of things and what to expect in preseason. And the reason I say about the defensive side of things, because Micah Parsons last year, did he play in any? He didn't play in one preseason game. Micah last year.
Nope.
How about Trayvon Diggs? He didn't either, right? I'm pretty sure DeMarcus Lawrence didn't, and a bunch of other guys did not on the starting defensive team. And of course, on offense, we know a lot of guys didn't play either. Now, I just want to say on defense, you're not going to see a lot of these starters this preseason as well. That's almost a guarantee. Almost a guarantee. So on offense, what do we expect to see from the preseason games? Some questions we can ask that may be answered in these preseason games. Kind of like we said about linebacker with the Marvin Overshown versus Jabril Cox. Healthy battle, healthy competition, like you mentioned. So when it comes to this new Texas Coast offense, we're probably not going to get a lot of answers necessarily, from preseason, because we're not going to see Dak out there with the starters, Brandon Cooks. They're not going to be out there most of the time. CeeDee Lamb last year, Zeke, Dak, they did not play a snap of preseason. Keep that in mind. So
we should still see shadows of it.
You'll
though,
see a glimpse. You'll see a glimpse.
Stuff out there.
You'll see a glimpse, but you're going to see, I think, something maybe more tailored to a Cooper Rush offense, possibly. But the point is, we're probably going to see just a glimpse or two of what's coming in this season. We're not going to see too much firepower being shown or when it comes to our plays. It's more going to be vanilla offense, vanilla defense, see how some of these guys compete and earn jobs on this team. So, again, if you look at past seasons, you're not going to see anything from the offensive scheme too much until the regular season, until week 1 against the Giants. So, without these guys playing, and let's look at the offensive side, guys. Again, without these expected starters in the field, I want to push. It doesn't mean it's a waste. It means that we can still catch a couple of things of importance on offense. And maybe, what do you think about this? And there's a couple topics I have here. Number one, the star quarterback. I mean, it's going to be Cooper Rush versus Will Grier, right? That battle will be answered in preseason. By the end of those 3 games, 2 at home, Cooper Rush and Will Grier will battle that. That's what we're going to be. I'm expecting to see kind of answered. I know everyone's like, "Oh, Cooper Rush, of course." Nah, not necessarily. Will Grier has a better handle of the offense
than you think, but it also depends because Cooper Rush is also, I don't want to say situational, but he has games where he looks great. He has games where he looks absolute trash.
It's how you manage him, I think.
Which Cooper Rush is going to throw out these next, those 3 games or so, we'll have to see. Because if Will Grier happens to look better, then forget it.
Will Grier will take it. And we have the extra quarterback spot, but you still have to carry that player on your 53-man roster. So you still got to keep 3 quarterbacks on your team. So that's something to
Cooper
watch.
Rush is the backup QB that McCarthy has grudgingly accepted just because we still have not quite managed to find anybody to fill that spot.
And
the man has even tried.
I mean, Mike McCarthy's thing is the quarterback position. The fact that this is a Kellen Moore, but really it's a Jason Garrett pickup, is maybe eating up McCarthy's insides.
That's why I said it's almost a personal affront to McCarthy that he hasn't been able to replace Cooper Rush. But I have a feeling that it's going to get done. One way or the other, it's getting done.
It's like the ghost of Garrett. It's like flying around us somewhere. Oh, shit. All right, baby. I'm sorry. My boy Cowboy Thomas in the house there. Much love. He looks like Jason Garrett. There's always the ghost of Garrett somewhere floating around. And we got a nice gifted navy blue crew for Seabass.
Thank you so much, Skeptical
From the man
fan.
Appreciate Skeptical.
You. Much love. Dropping that gifted membership there. And Seabass is the lucky winner there. So drop them if you got them. Drop those.
Sorry. Seabass in the house.
Those emojis.
You got the emojis. Put them to work. And again, much love to the man staying skeptical, who is on this board here at third place on the overall board, but first place on that gifting membership. Again, if you're anybody in the membership that's in, you could be a navy blue gifted guy. You could be Seabass, and you could drop love back for somebody else. You know, what is it called when you keep it passing it on?
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. You know, something like that.
Yeah,
so
I know Scorpio did that. And
Scorpio did do that. Yep.
So, but yeah, congrats, Seabass. Thank you again, Skeptical
fan 23 now. Jason Renfro 16 on that gifting for not just the week. That is for the whole month. So keep that in mind. It's a whole month's worth. He's one away from last month's, I guess you could say, record high, right? Because that's really the only one we've had right now. So the record high is
Skeptical fan is setting the record and breaking the record.
He's trying to break that record. He's 2 away from breaking the record on that side of things. That's like middle of the month already, right? So that's all. Not that much. So again, much love to you, Skeptical, and congrats to C. Bass. Now, backup quarterback, Cooper Rush, Will Grier. The battle is going to be figured out. I think the winner is going to be figured out in preseason. Another preseason thing to talk about, maybe, and I know this is the one we all want to talk about. I like this. I'm excited. We're going to look little man. And again, some people got offended when I said little man. I'm using that as a term of endearment. To Deuce Vaughn and Cavante Turpin, I want to see the little guys succeed. I want to see both these guys make the team, and I want to see how we're going to use them.
I'm a little guy. I'm not offended.
Yeah, exactly. You're a little gal. So, look, the point is, let's see the roles that are going to be laid out for Deuce Vaughn. We're going to see a lot of Deuce Vaughn. This is preseason. I'm excited. You guys should get excited for preseason. I know it's not the starters. It's not about winning or losing. I don't give a good goddamn about who wins the game. I want to see how these players play and no injuries. That's the only thing I give a shit about.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I care. I think every year we do this. We're always like, people worry about the score. Who gives a damn about the score? I don't care. Just no injuries. And let's see how our guys play. Deuce Vaughn, I'm excited to see him play out there. I'm excited to see how they use Cavante Turpin on offense. You'll see these things because these are backups, right? They got to still earn a place on this team. Mm-hmm. And Deuce Vaughn, Turpin, maybe both of them. Well, how do you feel about that? I want to see these guys. I want to see how they're used on this team.
Of course, I feel bad because I kind of said, with the addition of guys like Vaughn and other stuff like that, I'm like, well, Turpin's gone. He's done. No way. But the Cowboys obviously kind of proved me wrong in a good way.
Yeah.
Happy, right? I just assumed that McCarthy would not want to try to integrate him into our offense or whatever it is we're doing. And it seems like, again, I was completely wrong on that. Happy to be wrong on that. So I'm still curious how it's going to actually be done. That's the only thing, because my whole thought process is that, again, yes, they are little guys, so you do have to be, I think, even more careful, more selective, and put more thought into the way that you use them. And obviously that also means that we have to have a solid O-line that's doing their job, giving Dak time to give them time to get to wherever it is that they need to get to.
Nope.
Or I guess, in this case, Turpin. In that case, Turpin, and obviously Vaughn's
as a receiver, right. Turpin as a receiver, Vaughn out of the backfield.
But still, you want to clear, right? We want to clear the lanes. We want to give him as much time, effort, energy, space, so that he's not getting knocked around like a pinball in there.
Seabass is saying, can Deuce Vaughn be anything like Darren Sproles? And I do believe that's the goal for this offense and for McCarthy to try to make him kind of that kind of guy.
The leaper to, Deuce Vaughn, the
well, that's the two things. When he runs that ball, he said it before, he hides behind the offensive lineman. It's hard to see where he's at.
And that's why I said our O-line blocking is going to be it's always important. But for guys like Vaughn, he's going to live and die by how good our O-line is blocking.
And that's when we run inside. When you go on the outside, the zone blocking to the outside. And McCarthy said we're going to do a couple little different things on that. I'm curious to know how it's going to benefit Deuce Vaughn and, when it comes to running out the backfield. But to me, also catching the ball, that's going to be the key. We know so far they've used Deuce Vaughn with the starters, with Dak Prescott, with the starting offense. When we got to the red zone, they put Deuce Vaughn in the game.
Yeah, and I stole the words out of Steve Vass's mouth. So.
And Dak Prescott said this in his interview that McCarthy kind of insinuated this. But McCarthy's trying to get the ball in the playmakers' hands, like Deuce Vaughn and Cavante Turpin. So I want to see how that's done with, I don't care, Cooper Rush, Will Grier, whoever. They're doing things that the Cowboy coaches want to see them, the guys like Turpin and Deuce Vaughn, they're going to use it. We're going to see the roles that they're kind of being assigned from this McCarthy offense.
I like the fact that McCarthy doesn't seem to, McCarthy and Quinn both, they don't necessarily seem to limit themselves as far as, a player's size or whatever.
Yes.
It's all about their abilities, right? So, yeah, these guys are small, but they use that size as is a positive, right?
And if you use them right,
is part of their arsenal.
Yes, if you use them right on the offense, on the coaching, see, people just throw him in the game, he should succeed. No, if you run up the gut every time, you're not going to succeed with the Deuce Vaughn. If you're sending Turpin on, crossing patterns, probably not going to succeed there too much. But if you're doing things that stretch the field with Turpin, if you're doing things making Deuce Vaughn a target out of the backfield, which is exactly what the Cowboys did over and over again in the red zone work with Deuce Vaughn with the starters, then that's that's how you make the player to use it positively towards his skill set.
The only final little thing I'll add here is, at least when it comes to the receivers, less worry about Turpin because we do have bigger receivers. I think a little bit more worry on the Vaughn side of things because, again, Tony Pollard, he might be close in size to Zeke. He does not have anywhere near the power that Zeke had. So, I still feel like the point is that I still feel like we're missing that power.
Well, no,
back,
without a question. I don't want to use
in a way that we're not. I don't feel the same about the receiver. It's not like we're missing our power receiver.
That's the thing. I think when it comes to like Tony Pollard, he's getting $10 million for 1 year. It's going to be like the 5th highest running back in the NFL paid wise. So what I'm trying to say is I think the plan for Tony Pollard is to be used to the ground, whether in the ground or in the air. I think a lot more passing this year. You didn't see Kellen Moore using him in the pass game as much as maybe we should have seen. He did all right, but we want to see more of that. So I think Pollard as a playmaker in the West Coast or Texas Coast offense, I think that you're going to see Pollard utilized like that a lot in games pretty much the whole time through. But that's when you throw in the Deuce Vaughn. That's a Darren Sproles kind of move. I know you're really familiar with Darren Sproles, but he was utilized on third downs. You know that even if you got a screen in the backfield, he had a couple blocks, but the guy will go for the 15 yards for the first down. That's what Deuce Vaughn needs to be for the Cowboys. And and that's all we need from him. That's his role. Now, the short yardage is not him. And it could be Tony Pollard. I'd rather it not be. To at least keep him healthy, not for his career necessarily. I know he's going to be gone next year, but it's more about for the season.
I'm thinking about one thing 1 year. Remember, McCarthy has also talked about this throughout the offseason, one of these last few weeks or so. Having that extra 17th game, that makes a really big difference as far as the physical health of the players and keeping them healthy that much longer throughout, the regular season and the playoffs and the Super Bowl, which is obviously the intention. So, losing, we saw visibly with our own eyes what happens when you lose a player in the middle of your freaking playoff run.
It
the
can
last
shut your
thing
offense
you want
down.
is to keep someone like Tony Pollard healthy, ready to go, get to the home stretch, and then here we are.
Yeah, we're hit up the chat real quick about this specific thing about the running backs, but we're on like the last two topics, guys.
Yeah,
and it's a good night for the week. Crown champions.
Luis Ortiz, much love. He said they should have been using Turpin to clear out all last year. I don't know how many times I said that's how I'd use him.
They didn't do that. They used him on a trick play here and there in a span of 3 games. Like 2 trick plays.
And in a way where we might as well put a neon sign over his head that said, "Hey, look at me, I'm getting the ball." Hey, look at me, I'm useless.
That is not, and again, that's why I say it's not on Dak or it's not on Tony Pollard. It's not on, no one's teaching him right. It's not on anyone but one person. That's Kellen Moore. He just didn't use him right last year. And whatever the reason, McCarthy was hands off, whether, I think, by force from the front office, probably from Jones, from Jerry and company, but we don't know. We're just guessing. My point is, Kellen Moore was protected for whatever the reason, and he just kind of was not able to adapt, or do anything like that. And I think that's what did him in. And again, it's something we've been saying here for 4 years about Kellen Moore on My Cowboys Family. We've been saying this about him year after year. And, the Joneses did break something that, they're usually sticking with their guy like they did with Garrett. They broke from Kellen Moore, thank goodness. I think McCarthy's offense is already going to show us favoring the skill sets of our players, similar to what Dan Quinn does on defense. Dan Quinn doesn't say, here's my defensive scheme like Mike Nolan did and others before him. What's his name? Freaking the old man. What's his name? Marinelli.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying all these, they kind of force their scheme onto the player, whatever your skill set was. Dan Quinn has shown that he fits his scheme around the player. And I think the same thing as with McCarthy. There's a better chance of seeing that from McCarthy than Kellen Moore ever gave us, than Linehan ever gave us. That was just forced crap. And no plan B, no adjustment from them halftime wise, and sometimes in season wise.
Skeptical fans saying, "I'm looking forward to seeing our fullback."
Tyler Lipke, we'll see.
Seabass said Dallas doesn't normally run fullback, so Lipke will be interesting to see how they incorporate him into
Although
McCarthy's offense.
McCarthy likes fullbacks, but the thing is, Lipke can catch the ball, can run short yardage, can be a blocker. So that's the key there. He's not like I keep forgetting his name that we had a couple years ago. No, pulling the chain by his by the teeth. He was pulling the truck. I forgot his name. Damn it! Somebody will probably say it in the chat. And I remember that a couple weeks ago.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name off the
top. That guy was a one-trick pony of just a big guy that could show off like this guy Lipke has a versatile skill set that's not just a fullback. He's a running back, a fullback, a receiving back that can catch passes, and a blocking back as well.
Yeah, plus when the
Plays
Cowboys
special
really
teams
just
well.
want a straight-up traditional fullback, we basically just throw in another offensive lineman, which is what we
Yeah,
have been doing
yeah.
the last few years. So.
We'll see. I mean, he's going to be interesting to see matched up against guys like Ronald Jones. Matched up against guys for like Princeton Fant. I mean, he's a kind of a jack of all trades. I'm going to talk about him today, how he can make this team, almost as a fullback type guy. And, Schoonmaker, even in some ways, can be an inline blocker.
Yeah. The final comment here, I'll read. Jones, the Cowboys said, everyone says we shouldn't bring in Dalvin Cook. As much as the Cowboys say there's an emphasis on the run, Pollard is not an every down back.
And I think he is, if you want to here's the thing, you can use Tony Pollard as an every down back for a whole season. He might be broken by then, but he's leaving the Cowboys, right? Oh, who cares? But that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm trying to say is that why not have him last the whole season strong? And I think if you want the best Tony Pollard, you got to get another guy that can kind of take the hits more often. Now, Pollard's going to take hits, and he's a good. I know you say he's not a power running back, but baby, he's not Zeke, but he's the number one pretty much every year he's been in the league in breaking tackles in the NFL, whether by skill of movement or power. Nobody expects him to be that big and strong. He's bigger and stronger than people realize when it comes to Tony Pollard. Mm-hmm. But that's why I'm saying, yeah, he can probably get through a year, but he's not going to be his best the whole year. Ronald Jones has to take some hits if he's going to be the big guy. Tyler Lipke's got to be the guy taking some hits. He's got to be, he's got to be the guy taking. But I don't think Pollard should take him. Can he? Probably yes. Should he? Probably no. If you want a good Pollard from start to finish, that's what I want from Pollard. So yards after contact, says Seabass. I know he also has yards after contact. That's about power with him. He gets contacted, whether it's hard to tackle him because he's so shifty, or he's fast, or he's strong. It's really all three of those when it comes to Pollard. Mm-hmm. So. To me, I look at Pollard, $10 million. People are like, it's too high for running back. Maybe it is, fifth highest in the NFL by the time the season starts. But think about it like this: think of Deebo Samuel. If we use him right, he can run and he can catch. I'm not saying he'd be a receiver, but catching the ball at the backfield, the way we'd probably use a little Deuce Vaughn. Think about that. Just saying. So let's keep it rolling because again, we talked about the running backs, so my freaking mouth is dry. But what about the receivers? That's really, and we talked about the offensive line a lot here, so I'm not going to go into. There's a lot of things to still figure out with that, but we know our top five guys. Offensive line, we know our starting five. To me, it's more about seeing can Walesko be that right tackle as often as we want him to be. Is it going to be? To me, it's also Farniak at center, but who's that left guard? That's what I'm looking at offensive line. So we have to just wait and see. We kind of talk about that every single night here at MCF. Yeah. But when it comes to receivers, I'm looking not at the top three. We know CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Michael Gallup. But what about 4 and 5? What about Snug X with that $10 Cooper Rush holler? Woo. Right there, getting closer and closer, trying to catch Mark here. Still in second place. What did he say with that 10 on it, baby?
He said, "Thank you."
Woo!
And go Cowboys.
Thank you. Double.
Thank you, Snug. Appreciate
Got fives right there. Yes, much love to you. We know why, but also we know why. Appreciate you, Snug X, as always. Go Cowboys. Thank you. So
I'm not sure if he moves up on the.
No, he's still in second place. He's still in second.
He does take down Mark down to 85 points.
Yeah, that's
we're officially in tight end territory.
Oh, yeah, and hey, we're just about to get there. We're at receiver right now, though, for a quick second. And it'd be really quick, baby. I'm looking to see because again, no starters. Right? No CD, probably no Brandon Cooks or Gallup. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see Turpin, as we discussed already. But to me, it's more about that fourth spot, and that's Jalen Tolbert versus new father, Simi Fehoko. That's the battle to watch. What can we expect to see from these guys? What can we look forward to maybe hoping that these guys, one of them can break out and show us something? Yeah. I personally think that, number one, Simi Fehoko is going to have a good preseason. He always has a good preseason. When the lights come on, though, he has issues in the preseason games. So that's his issue. Can he get over that in his third year here? He's sixth-round pick. Let's see.
I hope so.
Jalen Tolbert, third-round pick. Higher expectations for him from my part. And I want to see Jalen Tolbert win this battle. I just want it because out of value, I think that he got overwhelmed last year with the Kellen Moore debacle. As far as, again, I'm going to reiterate this. Dak Prescott said this. We were halfway through the season still figuring out to master plays. And McCarthy even spoke about that, said, we want things mastered now. And I think that makes a better team with more repetition, more knowledge. Obviously, it's going to be like the back of your hand. Yeah. That's what McCarthy wants. So this team is ready to go almost. By training camp, they should know this like the back of their hand, unlike Kellen Moore, which is very confusing even for veterans. So Tolbert got too much last year. He already is doing so much better in this more,
whatever
stripped down
streamlined process
offense.
that's happened, it's great. It's great.
And maybe it's going to help Fehoko as well. We'll have to wait and see. I want to see both guys succeed.
You have to imagine it's going to help everybody, especially anyone who was struggling with the previous.
And rookies now, too, this year, right? It's going to help them, too. But yes, previous, whether it's Simi Fehoko and Jalen Tolbert, they both should get help from this. And I also think that, Tolbert has maybe the better ability, but there's different things you see from Fehoko, taller. Tolbert has a different style of receiving. So it's going to be interesting. But either way, which guy will take that fourth spot and really be maybe the key taking over for next year a little bit more? We still got Brandon Cooks one more year here. So we got this trio for 2 years, no matter what. CeeDee Lamb, yes, he's fifth-year option. We're good next year. Gallup here if he produces. If he don't produce, will Tolbert or Simi Fehoko be that eventual guy? Don't know. We'll see. But right now, that's the hope right now for the Cowboy front office to see one of these guys emerge. And in preseason, we're going to see a lot of these two guys. And Turpin as well. We're going to see a lot of these guys, as well as in the third and fourth quarter, to a lot of the other guys like Jalen Brooks, who had a great catch the other day. One of the plays of the offseason workouts and practices. So we'll see how they do as well. But to me, it's more about Fehoko and Jalen Tolbert battling it out for that fourth seed, for that fourth spot on the receiving core. Now, the last thing I'm going to say when it comes to looking for things going forward in this upcoming season is the tight end position. And, man, it's a lot to discuss here. But, again, I want to focus on, number one, the guy we picked here. And actually, you guys forgot. I know sometimes that it has to be made a point of here.
Yes.
That he was picked second in, our second-round pick over an offensive guard, a left guard. So, Schoonmaker, we're going to talk about him first. Before I say that, go ahead, baby.
No, just a quick point here. Frame Rippers, much love Voodoo Alpha. He said, NCF, jury's still out on DQ. When Parsons slowed down, the defense also slowed down. In 2014, Marinelli had nothing but scrubs on defense like Jeremy Minchie, but held their ground. So,
yeah, I mean, look, I disagree with you. I think DQ has shown more above and beyond. He's made these guys where they're at now.
I feel like it's also a bit of a chicken or the egg scenario. The Cowboys brought in Dan Quinn because they cared more about their defensive players. And Dan, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
and the first pick of that draft was
Quinn, obviously,
Micah Parsons.
Because they brought in Dan Quinn, they also were willing to get better players.
I mean,
you get what I'm trying to say? We had better talent because of Dan Quinn, but because of Dan Quinn, we also had better talent. So it's
well, Micah Parsons came in with Dan Quinn.
Yes.
And then I don't think the jury's out on Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn can be my defensive coordinator any day of the week. I disagree with you there, Voodoo, but
I think anybody
I understand kind of
would
some
slow down without Micah or
exactly.
Not having Micah fulfilling that same
role. How does the Rams defense do if they don't have Aaron Donald when he slows down?
But I think even more than that is the fact that our run stop on top of that, as far as the interior run stopping was still just so weak. You can't overstate that because even just saying
right, that hurts
the team
defense,
can hold on okay in other scenarios, but Micah really helped kind of cover that gap there as far as not actually by stopping it, but cover that deficiency there, with the way he was playing. But the second he stopped playing, not only was he not having his impact, but man, now you're really noticing that hole there that was there before that you weren't really noticing before because Micah was taking your attention off of it. Anyway,
interesting.
That's
point.
it. And of course, Quinn's managing of the available players and things like that. I think it was just a bad combination of just injuries, situations, and stuff. But anyway, that's all. I would have to slightly disagree with that, but I can understand how you could see it that way as far as the second Micah stopped doing stuff.
Well, we concentrating on the trenches last year and this year offense and this year defense with Mozzie Smith and 2 years ago with Micah, 3 drafts ago I guess Micah Parsons. So I'm just saying Dan Quinn's definitely getting a lot of guys for his defense and he's making it work. He's developing these guys and that's part of the thing. But let's talk about offense. We've got to focus on offense now because we're done with the defense for now. We're going to look at I think something we have to look at this training camp / preseason games, and that's the tight end position. First, I'm going to start with Schoonmaker there. You can see him 58th pick overall. Should we have gotten an offensive lineman? I think yes, but maybe there's a reason. We talked about reasons for this last night of why maybe, the Cowboys rather have a guy who can block and catch the ball than just a blocker, so to speak. So the issue is this, and let's just go through it right hit the ground running. It takes usually takes some time for a tight end to reach their potential. So that means Schoonmaker is already, immediately, in my mind, he's already behind, a year behind, a guy like Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson right now has an advantage over Schoonmaker because of the time it takes for a tight end to develop in a span of a year or two. So Schoonmaker is behind Ferguson on this as the number one guy. But again, the thing that Schoonmaker does have over Ferguson is blocking. Ferguson is manageable. He's a good blocker, but Schoonmaker is a lot better than Ferguson, even at this stage of their careers. But again, even with a player playing in the NFL for Ferguson right now, a year under his belt, Schoonmaker is still the better all-around blocker. And when you need a run blocking situation, I mean, he can still catch the ball, Schoonmaker. So he's your optimal run pass kind of tight end that can block in the run game and catch in the passing game. So you can have that versatility on offense. So, again, Ferguson might not be the better blocker, but again, what does work in both Schoonmaker and Ferguson together is that they have very different skill sets. And that right there is why they're both kind of starters. I kind of try to tell people, the Schoonmaker don't get the start. Does that mean he's not the starter? He gets maybe 5% more overall snaps than Ferguson? Like, who's the real starter, right? Both of these guys to me. And again, when you look at this new Texas Coast offense, that's getting a lot of, getting installed and getting a lot of talk right now. Heavy elements, it seems like, of 12 personnel. 12-man personnel, which means, again, 1 running back and 2 tight ends. And, of course, that means 2 receivers. But that means both tight ends get on the field at the same time. You're going to see both these guys a lot on the field. The damage they're going to do, guys, when both of them on the field, to be able to use their different abilities at that position is going to be what I think is going to be interesting to watch. And I think that you got to remember that it's going to be a versatile run-pass West Coast-style offense, or Texas Coast, whatever. But to me, Schoonmaker, Ferguson will probably get similar percentage of snaps, probably 40% each in a game. I think you're going to see almost a split percentage between both these guys at whatever they get, more or less. Maybe Ferguson gets 45 and Schoonmaker gets 35 one week, but maybe the next week it's the other way around. Schoonmaker might get more snaps because maybe you want to run a little more. But the thing, or maybe Schoonmaker is coming around a little more. So the point is this: Schoonmaker, I think, eventually will get, the overtake Ferguson. That's the whole point. He's a second-round pick. Ferguson's a fourth-round pick. Their second-rounder got to get out there and starting. Got to be your number one guy eventually. So Schoonmaker is the number one eventually, but right now they're both number ones on this team. Again, Schoonmaker, I could see him getting catch-wise. Now, blocking, snap-wise, the same amount as Ferguson, but he might only get 30 catches this season. Maybe 300 receiving yards. Maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns. That's Schoonmaker. But then Ferguson might get, even though the same amount of time, he might get 50 catches this year, maybe 600 yards receiving, and 5 touchdowns. So it's really about how they're used. To me, it's a no-brainer that both these guys are starters going into this. And I'm going to stay with Ferguson here, baby, for a quick second. Because when it comes to Ferguson, thank you for allowing that. But again, it's really, I think what the play dictates and is designed for is who is going to get, quote-unquote, the start or more snaps. Mike McCarthy's brand of football, that he loves to use a lot of tight ends. And so does Dak Prescott, loves passing and dumping it down, having that emergency blanket as a tight end there, right? So look at the draft capital the Cowboys have used the last 2 years at the tight end position. Ferguson, 4th rounder. He looked great when he had the chance. And, of course, Schoonmaker, we're going to see how he plays. He's got that boot on, or he had that foot issue, plantar fasciitis. Scares me when we think of Amari Cooper, but hopefully they will manage him right and he'll be okay. Now, Ferguson looked great when he got the chance. You can see number 87's athleticism and his route running skills are for sure pretty damn good, even as a rookie, right? He's going to be better this year. Coaching staff in Dallas, and I'm talking about Lunda Wells and McCarthy, felt so good about what they have in Jake Ferguson that they didn't even try to keep Schultz around. We know it's also money, and we know there's other Schultzes out there, Schoonmaker. So, again, you got to figure that Ferguson's probably the number one guy, in my opinion, starting the season. Schoonmaker's the eventual number one guy, but they're both 1A, 1B in a way.
But it's honestly, I do have the feeling that the Cowboys are banking on Schoonmaker overtaking Ferguson.
I agree.
I'm not really sure exactly at what point in the year that'll actually happen, but let's say around 2/3 of the season in, by then Schoonmaker should be the clear and obvious kind of starter, favorite, however you want to put it, right? Cactus G said Schoonmaker better be better than Fergie. Cracking me up there. So, Skeptical Fan said, which one of the tight ends resembles Blake Jarwin?
Perfect timing. You know why? That I'm actually going to discuss that real quick. The only shortfall for Ferguson, the only issue for Ferguson is his blocking skills. That's the only thing he has an issue with now. When he combo blocks, he's not bad. We saw him do it with Hendershot last year. He's not bad when he's combo blocking and stuff like this. But again, I think that Ferguson and Schoonmaker is similar to, like, I'm going to say Jason Witten and Blake Jarwin. Answering skeptical fans' question about which one's more like Blake Jarwin. Schoonmaker will probably play, not he's going to be Jason Witten, but he's going to play the role that Jason Witten had, which is kind of go down, maybe make a couple catches here and there, while, but yeah, he's going to be mainly blocking his, dump down kind of guy, while Ferguson plays the Blake Jarwin role, if you want to call it that, for the years, meaning that, it just takes a little time to develop Ferguson still to get to the full Jarwin, I guess, but I think 40 or 50, at least 40, but probably 50 catches this year, and over 500 yards at least receiving is what I'm looking at for Ferguson. And I think he does get, that's what I'm trying to say. He's the more of the athletic kind of receiver guy. And Witten, not as athletic in that sense when you look at a Blake Jarwin, right? Comparing to Blake Jarwin. Jarwin was the more athletic receiver as a tight end than Jason Witten. Jason Witten, still very, very important, obviously. That's more of a Schoonmaker type of guy there. So that's kind of the breakdown of our 1 and 2, or 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
You could, whoever you wanted first, you can put it there. But I think after this year, it's all about Schoonmaker as our starting tight end going forward. Now, the last guy I want to discuss, I'm throwing him on the board here, baby, it's Peyton Hendershot. Actually, not the last guy, but Peyton Hendershot in the mix here. Of course, our number 3. He's a passing down specialist. So we kind of got our 2 passing down guys. You want 2 receiving guys? It's number 87 and number 89, Hendershot and Ferguson. So, again, and I'm just saying the best. I mean, Schoonmaker can still be a good receiver, but Hendershot is a passing down specialist. He showed some real flashes of ability working the seam. With, all 3 of these, our tight ends, you can see him working the seam similar to the best tight ends in the league. So it's going to be interesting to see how Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer utilize him and come up with plays for him, because all 3 of our guys have a different style of tight end, of being a tight end, and how they're utilized. Hendershot really won people's love because, again, the way they see his progression, his touchdowns, athleticism, so he can use his quickness and his speed, like none of the other tight ends can do. The other tight ends have speed and quickness, but not like Hendershot. Now, he's got to make sure he makes that catch. He caused an interception last year, an ugly one for Dak over there against the Tennessee Titans. But his use and his production should not change too much from last year. Why? Because he's not the number 2. He's not the number 1. He's still the number 3. Hendershot is still the number 3. Kind of discussed a little more detail yesterday. But the point is, the Cowboys drafted Schoonmaker to take over the Schultz spot. And that keeps Hendershot basically the same production this year for me. That's what I think. A lot of people think, though, as well, maybe he ends up with the most touchdowns out of these 3 guys, because he is kind of the athletic receiving threat. So just some things to think about when it comes to Hendershot. But I think now you're looking at guys that you're going to see in training camp a lot more, really more, I guess you could say, in preseason games when it comes to Hendershot. And other guys on this roster, as far as tight end, baby, that are going to see very much in preseason games. Sean McEwen, we know he's their 4th guy. He's the Cowboys' 4th tight end, and he's usually inactive for games, but the Cowboys will probably cut him and put him on the practice squad. Usually makes the, usually gets pulled into the 53 eventually. McEwen and Schoonmaker, they spent time together, I think, in the same team, if I'm not mistaken there. But the best way for McEwen to carve a role into the Cowboy offense would make sure he's a good special teams player. Gets worked into the offense that way. If he's on the squad, if he's active, he'll be able to play sometimes at tight end if needed. If one of them get hurt, he's there to pull up that 3rd spot there for Hendershot. Yeah. But it's still a lot of roster space to keep 4 tight ends on your team. So it's going to be interesting how the Cowboys cut that up, and if they even want to keep a 4th tight end. Again, the way that McCarthy uses the tight ends, that 4 is about right, I think. But you also got to look at a guy like Seth Green, number 47 for the Cowboys. He's not going to make the 53, but he is basically a practice squad guy, a cover for injury at the depth chart as our 3rd or 4th tight end eventually, if there's an injury that we needed him. Now, I don't like that too much, but I'm just telling you what we got. And then Princeton Fant, number 48. I think you got to look at him. Can he be a guy that can beat someone like Seth Green, or make a move, a Hendershot, maybe make a move, not Hendershot, but make a move for that Sean McEwen role? And the reason I say that, guys, is because he's a jack-of-all-trades kind of player, Princeton Fant. Again, he's the he's what is he? The cousin of Noah Fant, but Princeton Fant, he doesn't do anything really that good or great, but he does everything. Is the point? He does a little bit of everything, so he can save you a spot as a short runner, like a short yardage runner. He can get you the 1 yard. Princeton Fant, and he did that in college a lot. He played the short yard. He get you the half yard for a first down. You put in Fant, so he can do fullback. He can do power running back. He can catch the ball. He can block. But he's not great at anything. He's good at a lot of things, but not great at anything. So,
which I guess is good and bad.
Well,
obviously
he's a
it sounds
practice
like
squad.
He's good at a good chunk of things, but again, he doesn't seem to
He
really
didn't excel
at any one particular thing.
To me, I think Princeton Fant. We're going to see a lot of Fant, a lot of Seth Green, and some McEwen. I think that's going to be an interesting 3 guys to watch because one of those guys is going to win that 53 spot, and the other 2 may end up on the practice squad. So just saying, I think that's something to look at. I also think Lipke, if he can make the team, then you don't see any Princeton Fant around, possibly. If he makes this team in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So anyways, what do you guys think, breaking this thing down as I clear? Oh, I didn't know I had my draft still up there. So there we go. I'm back.
There you go.
Now you can see me over the tight ends. So any quick comments on the tight ends as we shut this down and end it for the night, guys? We get ready to roll on out of here. So what's the chat saying, baby?
Jumps Cowboys said, Fergie's better suited for the West Coast. It's not me talking. Kelsey from KC thinks that.
Yep. We discussed that. We discussed him being one of the 3 guys, Pitts, guy from the Giants, Bellinger, and Ferguson, the top 3 guys for Kelsey as far as coming up. Was it Kelsey or Kittle? It was Kelsey, I think. Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
He was saying which guys kind of he sees coming up. I think those are the 3 guys he mentioned. I know Ferguson was the guy. So I think Ferguson in our offense. I agree. He's our number 1. He's going to look at it on this offense, but Schoonmaker is going to play the more of the blocking, safety valve role, while Ferguson's going to go down the field and attack a little bit more. Kind of like Blake Jarwin, right?
So, let me see here. So, but yeah, guys. I mean, again,
no tight end stuff here.
I mean, yeah. I thought we kind of. So, Big Boss Man said I like McEwen, but I believe Lipke is taking his roster spot.
And that's a great point. That's why Lipke would take if he makes this team, then McEwen goes to the practice squad.
Louis Ortiz saying, what I love is that all of our tight ends are young.
Yes, I mean
so
you got 2 guys drafted last year.
I read this one, but just in case, Schoonmaker is a bigger, faster version of Hendershot.
Yeah,
I think I read that.
Of Hendershot. Well, that's surprising. Well, Schoonmaker is one of the more athletic guys as well when it comes to the RAS score, but he's been used more like a Jason Witten option. That's what it seems like for us. But Hendershot is the more athletic guy as far as showing it on the field, like receiver style. But Hendershot's technically more athletic than him, believe it or not, by the numbers.
Let me see here. Shout out to you, Voodoo Alpha. He said, who's going to be the guy on offense that scares other defense so he can open up the offense for the rest of the team?
Well, Brandon Cooks over the top. I think that's a major player there. I think you might have some wild cards in Deuce Vaughn and, what's his name? Turpin. I think, of course, Tony Pollard's the main guy, as well. But you talk about tight end, not many tight ends can do that stuff, right? They're not really made for that. But I think that when you have a combination of these 3 guys, if you use Hendershot on some of those more receiving type of plays, Ferguson is going to fit, like you guys said, the West Coast offense style better. Schoonmaker is going to get probably the most snaps than everybody out here, as he should as a second rounder, but he's going to do inline blocking. He's going to be doing tight end outside, on the edge blocking. He does that very well, much better than our other guys, so that's why Schoonmaker gets in those snaps there. And he also gets the dump down kind of emergency blanket for Dak Prescott, more than Ferguson. Ferguson will probably be attacking more down the field in the West Coast or Texas Coast offense. So I don't know. Good discussion. Again, we don't want to forget anything here as we head into, this 5 weeks of quietness with the rookie minicamp. The rookie. I guess they do some. I think what did they say they're going to do about the rookie camp this week? They're going to do some life skills stuff. So
something like that. Yeah.
The rookie's going to be in town in Dallas for 1 more week,
learning how to do their taxes and who knows what else. So.
They'll be gone for a month after that. But the veterans are all gone now. So, all these guys here except for Hendershot, they're on their vacations now, chilling and still working out outside of the facility. Schoonmaker and the rookies will be back this upcoming week. And after that, 5 weeks of really nothing going on. This week is the final really big week of this. 4 weeks, so then after that, a month before July 24th, Oxnard, the Cowboys land in California for training camp, and they start hitting July 31st, baby. That's when the hits start coming. So we'll see what happens then. I can't wait to see that and more. Now, I don't know if we got to shout anybody out, but I know that we got to make sure we say that big shout outs to the guys who've been repping this board.
That's right.
For the last week here.
Thank you very much, David S.
Yeah, let me throw him up on the board. He's the sponsor of the week.
Yeah, not just a sponsor of the
That's
week.
Right.
About to hand over his crown here, right? But David S. is also Cash App King.
The king
Thank
of the
you.
Cash App.
Marco Seppian still bossing that stream around with 85 points.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Continuing his streak there.
Yeah, he's still holding that down, 13 out of 14 weeks? This domination from Marco Seppian. And he's dominated the sponsor of the week board. He's got 15 in a row down there in the past, right? He's got the all-time record. So much love to Marco Seppian, who, by the way, baby, big news for him. He's taking that sponsor of the week. It looks like he's locked it down.
There you go.
Top guy on the boards, edging out Skeptical Fan. Marco Seppian, sponsor of the week once again. Maybe starting a new streak. Maybe going for 16. I don't know. Maybe this is the first one. You don't know. I do know one thing. Marco Seppian, looks, unless something crazy happens in the next couple of minutes, he's the sponsor of this week. And again, I think it's going to be interesting the next couple of weeks. We do have a little break coming up here. I think after the rookies do their thing and go on their vacation, we will be going on a little family vacation. So you get a little break from us for a little bit, for a couple of days. We'll be back at it before and after our time off here on MCF and our family time with other family members here as well. So again, much love to Marco Seppian running that stream boss and taking over that sponsor of the week. And also, extra special shout out to SnugX. We know why he's here, but he's also here to take that Cash App crown, the crownage.
That's right.
SnugX now is going to be repping, unless something crazy happens in the next couple of seconds, repping next week as the Cash App King once again here. Repping that star over everything. He got it last week, I think. He's got it now again. So appreciate both you guys, SnugX, Marco Seppian, David S. Skeptical Fan keeps his lead going with the gifted memberships and get the crown from last month. And appreciate all the level members, membership style. Navy blue, silver, and star. Of course, there's also the over everything level. Still haven't seen that in use yet. Well, I'm sure somebody will get to it one day. So appreciate everybody in the house, SnugX. Appreciate you, Marco Seppian. Appreciate you, and David S. Holding that crown proudly, passing it on to these guys. So on that note, let's give those final shout-outs up in that chat.
Let me see. We
and
have
comments, I guess, if you throw a couple.
Yeah, no, all
in there.
good. Skeptical Fan, much love. Said pray for no injuries.
That's what we're hoping. That's number one.
Say no. Well, what were the two things you said?
No injuries, and let's see how these guys are used on that field. Let's see how they perform. Let's see some good stuff, so they get a good chance to either make the team or move up the depth chart.
Oh, Mr. MCF would end up as chum bait. Skeptical. Rolando Rodriguez, much love. Have a great night. He said you need to go fishing with Jerry on his yacht.
Yeah, they'll chop
so
me
I'm
up.
actually the fisher.
She's more the fisher woman. Yeah.
Sea Bass, much love to you. Cactus G, have a great night. Rolando Rodriguez, take it easy. Let me see. Luis Ortiz, good night. Big Boss Man, much love. Frank Rippers, of course. Voodoo. Drums and Cowboys, much love. We have, let's see.
We got a lot of people in the house.
Skeptical Fan.
Do not forget to hit that like button for this stream right now. It helps us out. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the notification bell to all videos, because we'll be dropping more shorts, more videos, clips, and more, of course, nightly live stream content here on MCF, My Cowboys Family, with the wife on the nightly. So, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, all good. Stephen White, SnugX, of course, James Herr, Mary Roberts, let me come back down, Scorpio, much love. So, yeah, guys, again.
Yeah, I'm also going to shout out Dwayne Broussard, the drops of love today.
That's right.
Marco Seppian, of course. Mary Alvarez, appreciate you. SnugX, always in the house. We know why. Skeptical Fan as well, gifting. Appreciate every single one of you guys for the drops of knowledge, the drops of love. But yes, maybe why? No, I beat you to this one. Why do we do this each and every night here in My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
You know it, guys. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly here. We always ripping this over everything, this star over everything. Never forget, on My Cowboys Family, almost six years on YouTube and beyond. Never forget, guys, 2 weeks away from that celebration, guys. Never forget, the number one thing here, now and forever, as always, never forget. Go Cowboys! Let's get that, not 5, but that 6 and beyond, and beyond. I'm talking about 10. Thank you all for rocking it here again, as always.
Interesting math there, for sure.
I'll go with 10, 11. I want to keep it going. I want to go with a 15 Super Bowl streak. Whatever it takes. I know I'm delusional, but I'm a fan. I'm allowed a fanatical moment here and there.
I'll allow it. So.
Thank you for allowing it. And again, guys, as we say peace on the visual side of things, again, thank you. Our weekly, we at least go once a week. You know, Sundays we're going to be doing our reaction stream. So once a week we're here.
Those are only
twice
a few
a week.
weeks away now.
Yeah, a couple of times a week at most. But we're trying to do different things, work different things here. So thanks for rocking with us here on the Nightly, guys. You got 5. We need 6 and beyond. And again, don't worry too much about that fire. It was a porta potty. Probably an Eagle fan shit himself in there. Nah. So, guys, as always, guys, baby, I think we have to do the ending properly, right? Because, again, you guys dropped the knowledge in the chat. Thank you and appreciate your back and forth on our Cowboys. Appreciate your drops of love from above. Guys, can't do what we do here without your support and love in that sense as well. But now it's time to drop out and clock out for the night. And before we relock, reload, as we finish off this week, we got to relock and reload for a new week tomorrow. What do we got to do, baby, here on My Cowboys Family before we drop out for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped. It is a wrap here on My Cowboys Family. And thank you all for participating in another Cowboys discussion, a Cowboys chat. Remind any Eagle fan you know, again, don't take a crap in the porta potties next to the Cowboys Stadium. But also, remind them basic mathematics. 5 is always greater than 1. And then you can send them a little note, a little song. Cry, Eagles, cry. Yeah. Another one in the house, guys. Thank you for rocking with us here on MCF with MCW. And you guys in the chat, another Cowboys chat. Yes, we talked about this fire. We talked about the edge duos. We talked about the tight end trios, the linebacker depth, and so much more, as we always do on My Cowboys Family. Thank you guys for this night, this week, this month, this year, this 6 years and beyond, repping it here with us on My Cowboys Family, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to everybody. Appreciate you all hanging with us once again. Join us again for another one tomorrow, next week, and beyond here on My Cowboys Family. As you know, so everybody truly stay safe out there. Have a good start of your week tomorrow, and as always, never ever forget, Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.